Games and strains.
Yo, what's going on, my peoples? It's your favorite Stone Gamer. You here with another episode of Games and Strains. You know what I mean? I hope y'all being safe out there. Make sure y'all shopping at Skyzone.Society.bigcartel.com. You know what I mean? For all the latest Skyzone Society gear, from your tees, your hats, your candles, whatever you need, we cooking up over there. You know what I mean? I know it's looking a little different this time around. You know what I mean? I got a guest on here today. You know what I mean? I got my boy Logic. You know what I mean? He's another great gamer, another very passionate gamer, such as myself. We met over the internet on Twitter. You know what I mean? We got into a little debate, a friendly debate, nothing crazy, just a friendly gamer debate, nothing crazy. You know what I mean? To the point he made some interesting points, and I had to get him on the show. Logic, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's up, B? Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, man. So to kind of piggyback off of that, I'm a passionate gamer just like yourself. I've been gaming basically as far back as I can remember. Sega Master System. That was my first console. And then I remember when my sister poured bubbles into it and fucked it all up for me. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I go back to that, and then I've just been all console gaming, but also PC gaming. My dad was heavy on PC games. He's had a clan for over 20 years. And so I had a little bit of both. I was a little ambidextrous switch hitter. And then one day me and my buddy, a good buddy of mine, Manny, Heartbeat, in our friend group was like, yo, let's do some PC game. And I was like, yo, let's go. And I already had my computer built. I helped him build one. And then a bunch of our people started building some PCs, and then we were doing some PC gaming. So it's like, I don't have any allegiance. I've had them all. I literally have had them all except for the current ones. Like I don't have a PS5.
Right.
I have an Xbox Series S. My preference is PC, but I love gaming in general. So it's like I'm open to any type of debate and stuff. Of course, I have a preference, but I love gaming in general. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be on the pod with you. And like I said, thank you for inviting me on. Our conversation was great on Twitter. I think that was really good feedback. And I wasn't even trying to defend my boy, because I know it seems like I was like fucking White Knight, like just hopping up on there. Like I saw it's like, oh wait, he's trying to say something. He's trying to, represent this like false narrative. And I was like, well, I got to get in there, because I known Kills, who you responded to. I known him going back 10 years, and we met gaming. We COD 4. That's how we met. Okay. But before that, he's in the SOCOM era. He was SOCOM on the PS2. When, you know what I mean? So like his roots are crazy, especially when it comes to Sony. So that's why he told me he was typing out his response, and he saw my sentence, and he said, all right, fuck it, delete. Logic got it. So basically that's what,
And the thing I liked about it, because again, I didn't take any offense to it at all.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think you would have anyway, because I generally try to have conversations too. I'm not one of those like, aha, gotcha. Yeah. Like I'm not going to be that type of person. I'm more of like, oh, let me just educate you, or just if I'm opinionated, I'm going to share my opinion, but I'm going to explain to you why I feel that way. And at the end of the day, it's okay for you to have an opinion and have free mind and stuff like that. As a consumer in general, that's just what consumerism is. It's like you have a preference, you like what one thing's doing over the other, and if you have the means, okay, maybe you could get them both, but if you can't, you got to pick one. So where you rocking out with? Me personally, my whole idea was always been, where are my friends at? Because I love multiplayer gaming. My friends are on Xbox, I'm there. Yo, my friends are on PC, or my family's on PC, I'm there. So that's more or less, that's, I guess, where you could say my preference is. It's because my gaming centers a lot around multiplayer gaming. I'd rather be where my friends are. And if my friends were on PlayStation, I'd be there. That's just a simple truth, And
I like what you said, and I agree. I agree with what you said about if that's your preference as far as the multiplayer and what you do. You want to be where your friends are, man. Because if you're somebody like me, who I do a lot of solo gaming, but I do a lot of multiplayer gaming, but I'm normally running with randoms, because most of my friends, we're all on different consoles, or they don't buy games as much as I do, or they just play surface games. And what I mean by surface games, what I like to call, or just your basic 2K and Madden, and that's about it. You know what I mean? Yep. Me and you, we get into all kind of things, from MLB the Show to
the show first
Destiny
person
2.
shooters at
Yeah,
RPG
man.
at Destiny. I was playing MLB The Show before I got on. I had the controller in hand, but I was running some Destiny yesterday because I have over 4,000 hours played in Destiny between Destiny 1 on the original on the Xbox One and between Destiny 2. And that's PC game. Like if I opened up my Steam library, and it's not even true the Steam library number
Yeah.
because on PC in 2017 it launched on the Blizzard app and then it switched over to Steam. They only rocked out on Blizzard, but then once Bungie left Activision, they're like,
Right.
"Fuck this! We need to go to a new spot." So they went to Steam. So literally, like if I opened up my Steam account, I probably have like over like 1,200 hours there, but that's not the real number of how much because I don't know how much Blizzard said I played. You know what I mean? I love that game, and people look at me like stupid, like I can't believe you play that game. I enjoy it. Like I take breaks from it. That's how me personally in Destiny. But that game for me, it's the shooting and it's the story, and then it's just that whole fantasy of like like the sci-fi fantasy idea of it all that I'm just enamored by, and I love it. It draws me personally as a gamer. So but yeah, I'm with you. I can't just do one thing. I can't just do. I could be about sports. Like I'm a Yankee fan, so I'm all about this baseball shit. But I'm like, but then again, it's like I like fantasy. I also play fantasy football, so I know what it's like to own players from. So I'm not going to be stupid. It's like I want that Mike Trout Mike Trout card on on MLB The Show. I want who's the hottest hitter right now, who's going to get the upgrade. So and I love the show because of how grindy it is. You don't have to put any money into the game. You could grind out the game and still have a great time because there's so much content in there to do, like whether it's moments or all that. Please, I could go on. It's crazy. There's little things like that,
And that's what I love also about well, first of all, Destiny. I love the story behind it. I'm gonna go back to Destiny 1. One of my friends who was a heavy Xbox guy at the time, he was big on Halo, but I guess he got kind of worn out of it. He was like, man, Destiny is gonna be the thing. It's gonna be what it is. And before Destiny, I hadn't really got into a game like that. So when it came out, the first one, I was like, holy shit, this is what it is right here, man. This shit is crazy. And I was trying to tell all my friends about it, but they just want to play surface games.
Because it's like nothing you ever played. They were like, nah, I'm gonna stick with 2K. I'm gonna stick with Call of Duty. I'm gonna play with Battlefield. I'll see. You know what I mean? It's like I can't get into that, not realizing the type of game. And it's looter and the looter shooter idea. It's not everybody likes Borderlands. Not everybody likes games like that. You know what I mean? That's not everybody's vibe. But Borderlands 2, that's another one. My buddies, like, they ran through that shit. I own Borderlands on 3 different consoles. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have Borderlands on the Xbox. I have Borderlands on PC. That was another thing. On PC, every time there's a game sale going on, it's like, oh, get this franchise for, that normally would cost you like $120. Buy all the games for $40. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might not even, you know what I mean? And then now they're in my library. I have them. I own them. I could go to that whenever I want to.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? So like that for me, that's why I love the PC part of that, or just digital stuff. We don't have to worry about, oh, is the disc in stock? I got to order all that shit. It's like, nah, man, just download that. But yeah, that's why I can't, if a game really captures me like that, to your point, like Destiny, like I'm all about it. And like I said, I sunk so much time into that game. That's when I had a full-time job.
Yeah,
that's when I was working full-time retail.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. I was working like retail game, like AT&T, GameStop back then and stuff like that in the days when I used to manage a GameStop and shit. And I talk about games and shit like that. And then I'd go home and I'd play the games. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy.
And see me, man, with Destiny, man, like you said, I had never played anything like it. Until this day, even though I fell off of playing Destiny 2, and here's why. It hurt my heart, man, when they killed Cade. I can't lie.
Yeah.
I cried. I'm gonna admit on this podcast, I cried when they killed Cade. That's how.
Sorry, I'm with you. We can have that moment together. I did too, because when you're heavily invested in a character, he wasn't even a playable character. But if you started from the beginning and you understand where he was in the Vanguard, and then you even see just the Destiny 2 and just see everything, you help him save the city and all of that stuff. Next thing you know, he's getting killed. Spoilers, getting killed by Mara's brother, Aldrin Solve and stuff like that. And that pissed everybody off. And then the culmination, like, it wasn't a big payoff. Like Forsaken from Destiny standpoint was an amazing DLC, but it was almost copying what they did in Destiny 1. Like, it took Destiny 1 to get to Taken King for it to really be, oh my God. like, oh my God. And with Destiny 2, I think it's the same thing for Forsaken. Destiny 2 wasn't amazing, I think, in my opinion, until Forsaken came out. And then after that, it's had lulls like Curse of Osiris. It hasn't known what to do with the seasons. It had to answer to Activision forever. So that's why it was easy for me to get out and remove myself. But once they removed that tie from Activision, then it's like, cool, now it's all on them. So I could still take my breaks from them. But now that I know how they're doing these seasons now and the content that they're rolling in, and I got a roadmap for the next 2 fucking years, I'm with them all the way. I'm with them all the way. And I'm one of those people where it's like, oh, cool, I could pre-order the next expansion and then get all the seasons. Like on PC, I could buy every season. Sign me up. I'm that guy. It's like, just I'll buy it all right now. I don't need to, you know what I mean? But and then here's where I throw in the little Xbox part where it's like, well, if you have Game Pass, you don't have to buy the seasons.
There you go. There you go.
Which is just amazing. That's just amazing. But I was on PC and I didn't give a shit, so I bought that anyway. So when I switched over to Xbox real quick because I had to sell my graphics card, money's a little short, all that bullshit. Cool. Sold my graphics card. Now I got a game on something. I bought an Xbox. Oh, but wait, Game Pass. I completely forgot. Game Pass include Destiny 2, and you get the current season included.
Yep.
So it's like, so I lucked out as a Destiny fan. So that's amazing. They can't make that type of deal if they're still attached to Activision. Just remember that. If they're still attached to Activision and Activision's running the play and calling the shots, they don't make that deal.
So you think it was a smarter move for them to
go get the fuck out of it? Absolutely. 1,000%, because you have to deal with Activision's numbers. They got stockholders. They have publicly traded company. They have quotas to make for it. And when you have games like Destiny selling billions of dollars, not Destiny, or Destiny in a certain sense, but Call of Duty every year, annual title, making the numbers that it's making, they're basically looking at that, and every other game that they have, they want every other game to have those numbers.
And that's
so when
not
you
fair.
have to, it's not fair, because that's not the same game. It's not, you can't come, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
So at that point, and then they're like, okay, we got what we want. This was a good deal up front. Now we're out of there, and now we could focus on our own shit. We want to do our own IP. We're still going to support Destiny. It's not going anywhere. We're going to try to do 2 and see what happens. The pandemic threw a wrench in a lot of that. I think a lot of this stuff would have been more fluid. I think the transition would have been a little more fluid if we didn't have a global pandemic. But such is life. They're working through it. Same thing with other developers. And let's just see what happens. I'm looking forward to the future. Now that I know that we're kind of coming out on the other side of that thing. So it's glad. Yeah. And still, it's the same thing at the end of the day. And I'll say it on this podcast, everybody else, listen, everybody stay safe out there. Because it's like, it's good that we're coming out of this nice little, like trouble that we had and stuff like that. But don't get it twisted. It's still a thing. Like, don't just forget it's still a thing. Just be safe. Listen to whatever guidelines CDC and whatever your state guidelines are, and just be safe, man. Just don't be stupid, just in general,
Yeah, man. I agree with you 1,000%, man. And another thing, man, you mentioned and people who don't know, Logic is part of another podcast that I love. Sensei Says, please tap in. I'm putting the link in the description. Please tap in. Great gaming podcast. Oh my God.
Appreciate that.
I'm tuning in every Sunday, man. I love what y'all doing over there, man. Shout out to Sensei and you. You know what I mean? And this last Sunday, y'all spoke on a lot of things, man. I want to get to, and I want to further what y'all spoke on first by saying, we had the debate on, and everybody who's listening, we had the debate on, everybody is about, is Xbox better, is PlayStation better? I always say, to me, that since I play both and I love both, that gaming wise, they're the same. And a lot of people say, nah, not so fast, man. And here's the thing that I want to say. I want to apologize to Sensei, man, first and foremost, man. I want to apologize to Sensei because I judged him. I judged him, and I'm not a man to judge people. And I judged him because I said to him, man, why you hate PlayStation so much? Or you seem like you hate PlayStation. And I judged him by not knowing him and knowing that, first of all, he doesn't hate PlayStation. He actually loves PlayStation. And I want to correct, my sentiments on coming to him on Twitter about that. And I want to just apologize to him because up until y'all podcast last week, I wasn't educated on a few things, man. I want to be honest. I wasn't educated, and I know you mentioned, you like to get online and have, great debates and great conversation and
I
try to
love it.
speak.
Yeah, I love that. I love that stuff.
And you also, you say, you like to educate people, and I
Yeah.
love that you said that,
Yeah.
because watching y'all pod last Sunday, I was educated on a few things that I didn't know, and I hadn't really thought about. And when I say that PlayStation and Xbox are the same, I want to say that I'm speaking from a pick up the controller and play standpoint. The gameplay
Yeah.
looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
I realize that when y'all speak on they're not the same, it's basically from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And I think a lot of people are speaking from a business standpoint, and I didn't know that. So some of the points that you made about not being clear about with a roadmap
And I'm going to interject real quick because it's funny you mentioned that. They literally just released some info today. I don't know if you checked it out, and basically gave you a little bit of a roadmap. And this is for PlayStation side, so we could touch on it a little bit later, but I don't want to stop your thoughts. So continue.
okay,
But I
okay.
want to add on to that because they gave us that, but look how long to my point, it took them a while because people had to literally go down their throats, and it's like a root. Like you got to, okay, can you give me give me a little bit? And it's like pulling teeth. That's what it is. Unfortunately, that's the feeling that you get. It's like pulling teeth out because they don't. It's not forthcoming. They have to be harassed for it, and they're a business. They do whatever the fuck they want, but they're also a publicly traded company at the end of the day too. So if you want people to be on your side and you want to do good business, let people know what you have going on. So,
Absolutely. I want to agree with you. Absolutely, 1,000%. And I want to piggyback off that point, because up until I watched y'all podcast, it hadn't hit me that they really haven't given us a fucking roadmap for what to expect. And me being a Sony consumer, since the early days, I guess I have conditioned myself to just know, like, yo, this is how it goes. Chill out. But
and just accept it.
just accept it.
And just
You're
accept
right.
it. Be like,
You're
it's
right.
good. It's good. I was like, I'm all right. It's gonna happen. It's gonna
Right.
come. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have conditioned myself to just say, you know what, this is what they do. And I think I've accepted it. And since this Game Pass thing has came out, and I'm gaming on next gen on Series S and everything, I realized that business-wise, they're two completely different companies, man. Like, yo, we could talk about the Game Pass compared to the PlayStation Now. It fucking sucks.
It's hard.
PlayStation Now sucks.
You shouldn't even. You can't. It's hard to even. It's not fair to put them against each other at that point. It's hard to, because you can't, because listen, there's only a few points that you need to hit, and then the scales just tilt.
Yeah.
And then it's not even, and then it's literally, it's not an equal fight at that point anymore. So it's like you shouldn't even have that discussion. But on a PlayStation side, you should have that discussion because, like I said, PlayStation owners and Sony consumers should expect more from their company. You shouldn't just be okay with level best. If you're a consumer and you understand that you want to continue to support a product, you should expect more from that company as a consumer. And if you don't get that, well, then there's one of two things. You either shut the fuck up and you accept it, or you show them with your wallet and you don't financially support them. So the next time they come out with some DLC or the next game or whatever it is that doesn't meet your standards, because unfortunately they're just half-ass mailing it in, you just don't support it. And then you just continue to do. That's the only way that companies understand. And it sucks because you want to support developers because that's real. Developers don't just listen. They work for years sometimes on their games, and it's a tough decision. But a lot of the times too, they're still getting paid to work. They don't work for free. The company is paying them for their business, but part of their bonuses and stuff are based out of how a game performs and stuff like that. So at that point, yeah, that's important. But they didn't make that game for free. They got paid. True. The company paid them. They got paid to make that game. The worker, you know what I mean? They're doing all right. I'm sorry. I'm not. So as a consumer, then it's still at the end of the day up to you. It's like, maybe I won't buy that game at 60 or 70. Maybe I'll wait until catch it on a deal because it's not worth that money yet. It will be. It'll be worth 50. It'll be worth 40, but it's not worth 70. Not in that state, not that way, and not right now. You know what I mean? Maybe later down the road.
Yeah.
Or maybe you give me a game that's worth the price that you're commanding, or you give me a service that's worth the price that you're willing to charge me for, and then you'll get my money.
I wholeheartedly agree. And I won't give a damn dime to PlayStation now. It sucks. I don't care if that give you triple A. I don't care about none of that, bro. The service sucks, and it has sucked for years now. And the thing is, again, I love both. I love Sony. I love Microsoft. But from a business standpoint, I completely see what y'all saying. And I got educated on y'all's show Sunday.
Yeah.
I said, hold on, man. I think we're saying two different things. I think they agree that maybe game-wise, they're both fucking fantastic. But business standpoint, no, man, no. Microsoft is a way better fan/consumer business to me, in my opinion, than Sony. Because we can take Game Pass, for example, and I'm gonna keep going back to Game Pass, but man, I'm gonna be honest, today was my first day buying a game for my Series S just because of Game Pass. Everything I wanted and needed was on fucking Game Pass, man. Especially with the EA access shit. Oh, don't even get me started.
That's a whole other can of worms that is only waiting to explode, because you understand the E3 announcements that we got going on. And like I said, I don't want to jump the gun and take control. We're gonna get to that. So, but go ahead, continue. The value is unfucking real. That's the moral of the story. Game Pass equals value.
Man,
value.
That's the best, man. That's my favorite bill to pay every month. Next to HBO Max. 15.
Next to HBO Max. Exactly. No, I'm with you. Lockstep with you, 100%.
Yeah, you 100%. Can get my $15 a month. Please take it from me. Yep. Especially now that y'all are adding these other developing companies behind y'all, and then y'all are giving us those games, man. Like right now, like I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm locked in on Wolfenstein. I know it's old as fuck, but I love that game. And I'm so.
Have you played? Did you play it back when it? Did you play it back when it came out?
I had it on PlayStation 3. Okay. I had it on PlayStation 3 when it came out. Yep. So you can understand, and I love Bethesda. Like I'm a huge Bethesda guy. I buy Doom, I buy Wolfenstein, I buy anything they put out and fucking buy it. They can get my money anytime. Yep. Yo, them, and I love Oblivion too. I love Oblivion. Gotta give them some love too, man. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Love the Outer Worlds. One of my favorites, man. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Love it. So. From a consumer standpoint, man, like this was my first day buying something for my Series S. I bought the Necromunda hired gun that just came out. I bought that, man. The gameplay looks phenomenal. I've been playing it all afternoon. I love it. It looks great. Nice. So and again, this is just due to Game Pass. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I had ordered the show on PlayStation 5. I went to GameStop. I pre-ordered it because I was excited for it, especially they was doing the Jackie Robinson edition.
Yep.
I ended up buying that. I bought that, man.
It came with stubs, right? Then it you got stubs off the rip and stuff. That's a beautiful thing, you know? Right off the rip, like a low head
start. Yeah, nice snapback hat, everything. I mean, I love it. It was dope, man. Like the box was nice. I kept the fucking box. It was nice, man. I loved it. But let me tell you, man, if I would have known for one fucking second that it was going to be on Game Pass, I would have bought it. But the only reason why I supported it because it was the Jackie Robinson edition. $1 was going to the Jackie Robinson fund.
Yes, which is amazing. And I'll meet you even halfway there. I own this Xbox One S or Xbox Series S, I should say. Excuse me. Mostly because my friends are on Xbox. My family, my brother, he's on Xbox and stuff. But really, because MLB was on Game Pass. Because if MLB ended up on when I had to make that decision as a consumer, lockstep, okay, Xbox, PlayStation, my driving force at that moment as a gamer, I really want to play MLB The Show. Where the fuck can I play MLB The Show? Yeah. Oh, I can play it on PlayStation. Okay, but I'm thinking money. Okay, digital version of PlayStation 5. Great. All right, I'll try to scout one out. I'm gonna have to pay a little bit more for it because scalpers or whatever. Cool. But then it was like, wait, no, Game Pass. Okay, that's it. Decision made. $300. I paid $50 over because I bought my Xbox aftermarket, brand new. Somebody did the work for me. Whatever it was, the $50 was well worth it. Yeah. And then I had to pay $1 to upgrade my Game Pass subscription because I had it on PC already. We paid $1, got the month. My brother, who was already on Xbox, sent me another month, and then so I'm good now. I'm good until August, and then I'm earning the points. The reward points to pay for my next month because I'm not as a gamer right now just because, like I said, shit is kind of tight. I'm not in a position to just be out here and be like, yo, but if I had the means to, better believe I'd have this shit paid off for the whole year because that's how much I believe in this service and how much it's doing for me as a gamer, just as a consumer and as a gamer, how much value is in there. But yeah, MLB on the Xbox and it's running really good. On the Series S, it's running pretty solid too.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
man,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm not a 4K. I game on a 2K 144 inch. It's only HDMI 2.0, so I don't get the full on experience. It's not the 2.1, so I'm not getting, but it's running solid. It's
Yeah.
for me, it runs solid and it's all the features and I get the crossplay. I get to play with other I get to play with people on Xbox. I get to play with people on PlayStation. And the connection for the most of it is pretty solid on the game. Sometimes you have some nights where it's like kind of laggy bullshit, but most times it's pretty solid and I'm enjoying myself. And it's one of those games where it's like this, I haven't felt this enamored by a sports game since like one of the old school, I would probably go back to like one of the old school Tiger Woods PGAs.
Okay.
Because I always loved like golfing games too. But like for a sports game perspective, this thing has me. And I was never an Ultimate Team, FIFA Ultimate Team, or Madden Ultimate Team. I had no faith in any of that. I never did any of that. If I wanted to play online and play Raiders against fucking whoever, Redskins, I'd do that. But I never was like, oh, let me go make my team in fantasy and all that. Yeah. Now this thing has me a believer in all that because I follow baseball. So now it's like all I got to do is just see what they're doing in real life, and then just know like next week, yo, their card's getting an upgrade. And it's like, I just got to look out for that car. It's crazy, man. It's so crazy.
I agree, man. I'm more of a road to the show guy myself, man. And I like you said, I love the grinding of it. It's the grind of it, man. Like I sit and I play every fucking game, man. Like I won't miss a game. Like I just love it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I never thought that I liked a baseball game more than I like 2K. I can't lie. Like I love MLB The Show more than I like 2K. And I've been telling my friends, like, listen, please play the show. Please play the show. It's on Game Pass, and they all have Xboxes. You know what they tell me? Man, I don't know, man. It seems like it's just too slow. It's too slow. Listen, no, please play.
It doesn't cost them any to try it. But but that's the thing, is trying to convince you boys like, hey, there's something really great over here that you don't have to pay for. And even though you're telling them that it's free, it doesn't matter. It's still not enough. So it's like one of those things where it's like if the mountain won't come to Muhammad, you got to bring Muhammad to the mountain. You know what I mean? It should, and so it's like eventually, I think if whatever their game, because the only other reason why they wouldn't probably want to try it right now is because something else is keeping their attention. If it's the 2K grind and stuff like that, because like I said, and when I'm grinding Destiny, I don't want to hear about nothing else. Yeah. Sometimes I'm in such a mode with Destiny, and I've been in the past where you could tell me anything. There any other game. Oh, new game came out. Fuck it, don't care about it. Come see me. This new update for new DLC just dropped. Don't care about it. Whatever. I'll see you later. I'm here on Destiny. I'm grinding. I'm trying to get my power level up. I'm playing. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing stuff like that. So I could understand that to a certain extent. But yeah, like I think anybody who's not a fan, who hasn't given MLB The Show a try, needs to. Because it's just so much from a sports game. It plays amazing, and then just from that grindiness factor, there's so much more to it than just a baseball game. Because people also think like baseball's boring, and for me personally, you might watch baseball and think that it's boring, but playing baseball,
it's different. It's different. It's
different. It's a whole different feel.
Yeah,
whole different feel.
And another thing I want to agree with y'all about, man, that you and Sensei also said was, man, like, where the fuck is the expandable fucking storage? I want to talk about that. You know why? Because like we are like 7 months in, and I can't go to Best Buy, Logic, and say, yo, let me get me some expandable storage for my PS5 drive today. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If you own a Series X or an S, you can. You know how
you have multiple options.
Yeah, I want to be clear. You have multiple options. I think my homeboy who has a Series X, he recently bought like a 3.0 USB from Best Buy. He called me, he said, man, guess what I just bought? He said, I just bought a 3.0 USB. It's like 2 terabytes. I said, oh my God. I wish I could do that for my PS5, but unfortunately, guess what they gave us? They gave us the option to move the PS5 games to our current USB that you use to maybe like your PS4 or whatever. They gave us the option to move it on that. But here's the kicker, if you don't know, you cannot play the PS5 games off the current USBs. You cannot do it. So you have to load it back onto your PlayStation 5 which then you have to probably move something else over to fit said game. It's just too fucking much. And I paid $530 for this shit, and it's 7 to 8 months in, and I'm still waiting for some expendable storage, a drive that I can just hook up and just plug and play. All I want to do is plug and play. I don't want to have to move, delete, move, save, move. No, I want to do like I do on my fucking PS4, where I have my 2 terabyte drive hooked up with plenty of games, and I can play straight from my USB. That is the problem. I want that is the major problem, Sony, that I need y'all. Which here's the thing. Like, why the fuck even release it without a drive? You know how big these fucking games are. Yo, Call of Duty is like over 100 gigabytes.
That in itself is also that's another route before the HD, because you don't even get into like the HD pack too for multiplayer. There's another 40 gigabytes too. But just the base, just Warzone and the base multiplayer game is 100 gigs. If you want to download zombies and campaign, you're looking at close to 150. You want the HD pack? That's another 43 gigabytes. What the fuck? What? 200 for one game? I'm okay. And that's another one too. And then now like 500 gigs or 1 terabyte, and then you got to worry about I got to install this, I got to uninstall this and move this around just to make some space. It fucking sucks, dude. And then that's the one thing you can say about the Xbox. It's like out of the gate, not only did you have the USB plug and play right there, but you had the Seagate, the proprietary Seagate drives that act just like the SSD that's already inside the Xbox itself, that both systems, both consoles, the 500 and the 300, have access to. That you plug that shit in, you load up your games on there, and it acts just like the SSD right on your hard drive itself.
Man, let me tell you, man, when I found out I could hook my current USB drive to my Series S and take all my old games that I have on my Game Pass and store them on my USB drive and make space on my hard drive on my S.
Yeah. Yesterday I plugged in, ready? I'm going to pull this little guy out too real quick. See this guy?
Okay.
There's a 2 terabit Seagate that I've owned now for good part of like 6 years. I use it as a backup, like anytime photos, torrents, game. You know what I have on here? I had a lot of game recordings. Like, so when I play Counter-Strike or shit like that, a lot of that, like, because with NVIDIA, the shadow play, you can just hit a button, boom, record the whole gameplay. So I have 500 gigs of Counter-Strike videos on here going back to 2017. So I'm looking through all this, but then I got a 2 terabit internal on my PC. I'm like, yo, let me dump that off. And then here's my 2 terabit expandable drive for my Xbox. And then just in case if I needed more, here's another 250 gigs SSD if I needed that one as well too. That I have nothing on that. This one I just found in a bag because I forgot I even had it in the first place. But I was always that guy too, where it's like, oh, I saw this on sale, let me buy it. Oh, I think this would be useful, let me buy, and the fact that I can still get use out of it, you know what I mean?
You sound like me, man. Like my wife hates that, man. I'm always looking.
Sometimes you see a deal and you see it and you're like, you got to get it, and then you have it, and you can't be mad at it because it's like, how could you pass up on a price like that? Sometimes you see something where the price is just a little too good to be true, and you have to take advantage of it as a consumer and as somebody you're in this line anyway. You're going to find use of it. It's not going to go to waste one day or another, whether it's immediately or a little bit down the road. You're gonna use it.
And you know the price of this thing when it goes back off sale. You're like, yo, I'm saving like $40. I got to get it now. Like,
I'm saving $60. I'm saving that one there. I think I got off that. That was a 2 terabit back there. I'm going back a couple of years to a portable USB 3.0. That USB 3.0, it's not even the USB-C. It's the old school USB 3.0 when they first added the little piece next to the micro USB.
Okay.
That it was one of the original USB 3.0. That's how old that fucking drive is. And it's Seagate portable, so it's good name brand. But that thing went from like at its time, it was over $200.
Yeah.
It was down to like $120 or something. I bet. Yoink. Like, that's a no-brainer. I mean, that's when I had the money. I'm like, oh, that's good. I need that. Click. You know what I mean? That was also too when I was DJing back in my, my friend, I would DJ at hookah bars and shit like that. I got a little, plug that in, had some music on the side, so I could always, you know what I mean, go to my friend's house, be like, oh, let me get that set list real quick. Boom, 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 download some shit. Always had something like that. So I got so much use out of that, and I'm still getting use out of it. So, But yeah.
So in your opinion, why do you think Sony didn't release a drive?
It's a misstep. It's a misstep. It's literally, it's a misstep, but it's a misstep that you shouldn't have. It's hard to even explain. It's something that should be, it's inexcusable, but it's one of those oversight things where you're just like, you're touting a next generation console, and but you don't have those next generation capabilities yet. Because if I could do that on your past generation console,
Yeah,
the fact that you could take that feature away and not put it on your new console, it's mind-boggling.
it really
It's so
is.
hard to just, it's mind-boggling. But then it's like, but then it goes down to, it is what it is, unfortunately. And that's just, and hopefully they get, the M.2. My friend Sensei Kills asked me, oh, why can't you just throw an M.2 in there? M.2's overheat. M.2, people don't realize this. M.2s get very hot. Why? Because they operate at very fast transfer speeds. So
Yeah,
people think 3,500 megabytes a second read and write up and down is like, oh, wow, that's so fast. Yeah, it's fast, but you know how hot those things get just at a regular computer?
yeah,
If you don't have proper cooling, heat, if you don't have proper ventilation on the computer. So to try to put an M.2 to use that expandable slot that they have, that M.2 slot, if you don't have the right heating there, thermal pads, or if you don't have one that's set up, if you just pop any M.2 in there, you got plastic and shit around too. You worry about, God forbid, you cause a fire. Like if
yeah.
they haven't tested that yet. But that's overstep. That's oversight. Because if you're gonna have that slot there and you're not gonna fucking use it, then why was it there in the fucking first place? Like but see, this is
Yeah,
stuff. But you know what I mean. So it just goes back to, it's like it's little small minute details like that end up cause their pain points for a consumer. And then it's just another. It's like, well, tick, Xbox has that, and no, Sony doesn't have that, so I can't tick that. And then it's one of those. So when you're making that decision of which way do I go, that's just you one up on there. And there's just a little too many of those, because performance wise they might perform great and games feel great because they're both controllers and all of that stuff. But if you really start breaking it down, you realize the value that you get and what's already good on one side, and unfortunately there's the other guys are still playing catch up. Because eventually, hopefully, with this new system that comes out at the end of the year that they're touting and they're saying it's ready to go, they're going to have that slim model. Hopefully that one has it, because then what's the excuse if the new revised model comes out and you still don't have the memory there?
they
If
can't do
that
that.
shit, if it's not a 2 terabit, if that system's not at least 2 terabit, what are you doing?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And if it doesn't have expandable memory ready to go, what do you do? Then it's like, what the fuck am I buying that for? Let me just go look for an old system, because why am I gonna? What are you doing? Oh, it's a smaller chip. That's what they're touting, smaller SoC and stuff. Okay, so better heating, probably a little faster speeds and stuff, maybe a little faster loading times. But what else am I getting out of it? And if you're a current user, like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes there are people that are like that, where it's like, I already have a PS5, but they got something new coming out. I want to buy that. PC gamers are the worst with that shit. A PC gamer will buy a graphics card 1 year, and then next year, Nvidia or AMD will tell you, yo, we got something new out. And then they'll be like, gotcha. And they sell their old shit and they buy their new shit, because sometimes people just can't wait. And even though it might only upgrade their, what they're doing, like 10%, 18%, they don't give a fuck, because it's just the new shit.
yeah,
So there are consumers that are like that. It's new. I want it. I don't care. And that's what it is. It's new. I want it. I don't care. But then you have other people that just really think about it. It's like, well, wait, if this really isn't going to benefit me, then why am I wasting money on it? Why do I want it? I don't have to be about that new tech all the time. Then I got to wait until they make that better, or let it get more value before I, put some money into it, before I invest my money into that,
And see me when I bought when they came out, just 2 years ago, I was in my mind, I already made it up. Man, I want the PS5 so bad. I know what's coming, because I didn't know what was next for Xbox. So when they was both coming out, I said, man, I'm gonna end up getting both. Now they're doing two different kinds. I'm gonna somehow get both. I want it, man. I want it. But I'm gonna get the PS5. Looking at the specs, I'm like, man, they damn near the same. And in my mind, I said, yo, I know they're gonna come out with an expandable storage same day. So that same day, because I got my PS5 first day, that same day, I had my money for the expandable drive. I went
as a consumer, you were ready for it. You knew you were ready for it. You already had that purchase. You try to buy something that they didn't offer to you yet. How sad is that? That's what Sony needs to realize too, because you know how many other people were just like you in that situation, that already had money put off to the side to something that they already knew is ready to come, and they were like, no, it's going to happen, it's got to happen, because who wouldn't think that they would like, what normal person, as just a normal game, like, wouldn't just assume like, oh, it's got to be coming, it's a no-brainer, it has to be. So you had the money ready, and then come to find out, no. So it's like,
I mean, month after month, no. And I'm tweeting these guys first day, like, hey, where can I buy the expandable drive, you guys? Because I'm loading.
Where can I give you my money? Where can I give you my money? Yeah.
Take it now, please. I need it right now. I have $200 put aside for an expandable fucking drive. And here's the thing. And here's why I got educated on y'all podcast yet again. You know, it was about the roadmap. And I say, that's funny. I never thought about that. So later on that night, after y'all podcast went off, I sat down, I was just thinking about the roadmap. And I said, yo, where was the roadmap for the expandable storage? I've been tweeting these guys since day one, saying, hey, where can I buy it at? And then here's the thing too. Y'all wasn't even transparent that we weren't even going to be able to use the regular drives that are out now to play the PlayStation 5 games off. Like, because you got to think, if you're a regular consumer like myself and really not a tech guy, you don't know that you're not going to be able to play these PlayStation 5 games off of your current USB. Because if you're working off
of assumption at that point, you're just assuming like, why wouldn't it work?
What
would give you the idea that on a new generation system, what would give you the perception or the idea that it wouldn't work? That it wouldn't, and still, even with that knowledge, you still said, fuck it, I still want a new hard drive anyway. You said, I want whatever they're going to give me anyway. I'm still going to throw money at them anyway. I wish I had money to throw at the fucking camera anyway, to illustrate that you literally just wanted to throw fucking money at a company that didn't have the product ready to give to you.
And again, how do you drop the ball on not knowing hardcore gamers like me and yourself are going to need an external drive? And again, you knew Microsoft was going to be ready for this shit. Why aren't y'all ready? This isn't your fucking console.
One of the first things that Microsoft touted, if you remember, when they announced the Series X and S, was the expansion drive with the proprietary with the expandable drive with the proprietary thing that they told you was going to be ready at launch, and it was. And it cost you a pretty fucking penny, because if you bought that 1 terabit external, it was like $200. But it's a proprietary drive that expanded your hard drive space by another gig, another terabit, so another 1,000 gigabytes.
And that's basically a lot.
1 terabit of extra space that you were able to get. You know, if you got the S, then guess what? Now you got 1.5. And if you got the X, you got 2.
Yes.
I think you could be all right with 2. You could make things happen. You could move things in it. You can make things happen. You don't have to worry about, I can't download my new game because I'm out of memory. At that point, if you're out of memory, it's just because you haven't maintenance. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's been a while since you looked and you said, well, I don't play that game. Yeah. I really don't play that. You know what I mean? At that point, because you were just like, I'm trying to look for the word, not lazy, but just, you were just content with the fact that I can just keep downloading shit because I don't have to worry about space, because it's like I have unlimited space. I don't have to worry that the fucking, the next Call of Duty update was 40 gigabytes because I got the space for it.
And that's literally how you feel when you sitting on space. I don't give a fuck what I download. You know how much shit I download Game Pass just because I can? Yo, I'm downloading Fable. I'm downloading all kind of shit. Like, yo,
I download, Final Fantasy 10. You ever play Final Fantasy series? You ever play Final Fantasy at all?
My first one was last year. I played, a friend of mine put me on the 15. I've been a fan ever since.
You liked 15?
I love 15. I love it.
When you have some time and when you want to, I recommend, my favorite Final Fantasy is 10.
Okay.
It's on Game Pass. It's the HD remake. Download it, play it. I'm telling you, you'll have a good time. It's not all fancy and stuff for its time. It's a PS2 game. My first experience of it was back in 2002 at my friend's aunt's house, who was like a diehard EverQuest fan, and I was in middle school. I was in like 6th grade or 7th grade, something like that. And that was the first JRPG, Japanese RPG, that I fucking played. Final Fantasy X. That game and Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud were those two games that I experienced in one day, and I never looked back. And
Okay.
and Final Fantasy series for me has just been amazing. People, I mean, 7 was like I played 7 before that too, but I was too little to really understand. And
Yeah.
obviously, what remake is amazing. I bought the PlayStation. Quick story: during the pandemic, I knew the remake was coming out. Final Fantasy 7 remake. Well, I got a PC. I don't have I don't have a PlayStation. What am I gonna do? Went to a fucking pawn shop.
Got
Literally,
one.
pandemic happens. I'm out of work. I got some cash on me real quick. I went right to a pawn shop, bought a PS4 Pro, and I had that shit ready just to play the one game I wanted to play. For me, that's a system seller. That
Yeah.
game sold
Yeah.
me that system. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't buy it brand new, but I still got that system. I still bought the PlayStation Online, like PlayStation Network and stuff like that. And I played other games too because I did link it to my brother's PlayStation. So I was able to get all of his games. So I was able to play God of War again. Like things like love God of War. I
Love God of
love the
War.
new God, like new God, the newer God of War. I
Yeah.
mean, I was a fan of old school God of War.
Me too.
New God of War,
Yeah,
amazing.
man.
I
Amazing.
can't wait for I can't wait for Ragnarok.
Yes.
Cannot wait for Ragnarok. That is probably when I look into getting a PS5 because those games are system sellers. A PS3, I bought it. It was a 60 or 80 gigabyte PS3 with MGS4. Metal Gear Solid is one of my favorite game series of all time. All time. I did not buy a PlayStation. I owned Xbox back then, 360, whatever. I did not buy a PlayStation until Metal Gear Solid came out. And I bought the fucking PlayStation brand new with Metal Gear Solid. And it came with the Bluetooth so I could play Metal Gear Solid online. It was like one of the first Bluetooths that came out for the PS3. I just found it. I literally have a bin over here. I just was looking through shit. I just found the Bluetooth because it had one of that Bluetooth communicators.
Okay.
Back then, they still had wired headsets and shit or Turtle Beaches and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait, you get the Bluetooth and then you could talk on through the PlayStation because connected Bluetooth. That was the first because Xbox wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
And you could connect it to your phone and then just have a Bluetooth on your phone. So I thought that was dope.
Yeah, that was dope.
So I bought that. You know, that was dope because guess what? Nobody else was doing that back then, console wise. PlayStation was the first one to do that. But that game sold me that system. And but I've always been, that's me personally. That's why I say I'm just a fan of gaming because it doesn't take much for me. Like I said, if it wasn't for MLB Show being on Game Pass, more than like I'd probably have a PlayStation because I just wanted to play that game because I watched YouTube, Twitch, everything. I got so I just psyched myself out for it. I literally just psyched myself out for it and said, I got to play this game.
Me too.
Me too. So that's what's dope about it, man.
And see, what's crazy that you saying that furthers my point about them being so ahead of the Bluetooth shit. Why the fuck aren't y'all ahead of this expansion drive shit? It drives me nuts. It doesn't even make fucking sense, dude. It doesn't.
One word. Ready? Here it is. Complacency. Complacency. It's when you feel like you're the big dog. And when you feel like all the chips and you got everything on your side and you're kicking out games like God of War and Last of Us 2 and all of and you're touting all of these system sales and stuff like that. Oh, I can't sell quick enough. I mean, you can't make them quick enough too because there's a shortage. So you get complacent. And then but then complacency equals like laziness. That's the next step. You get complacent and then you get laziness. And unfortunately, their complacency was during the development of a next generation console that had similar to almost exact fucking specs as their competitor. Literally, you take apart each console, and this is your PC gamer talking now. Take apart a Xbox and a PlayStation. They're besides the fucking Blu-ray drives that are probably in there, they're almost identical because the chips that they're using are the same exact Ryzen 2 generation AMD fucking chips. It's the same ones. It's just a matter of who's developing, who's got their hand on the wheel and paying attention. Xbox, not unfortunately, but fortunately, I guess for Xbox consumers, have been able to get more out of that chip, like graphically and also just design-wise, than PlayStation. They've been on the back foot of it. That's why the 4K, when you look at 4K comparisons, if you play that role, unfortunately, it feels like Xbox, you always get an edge with a lot of the games, because they paid attention and they cared more during that development process. But they were both developed at the same fucking time. So what's the excuse? They should both technically be able to do the same thing. So if one's doing it and the other one's not, what happened? Who do you blame at that point? It's what are you blaming at that? You know what I mean? And that goes back to then just pull it all the way back, and it ties right back into which one do I choose and where do I go and stuff like that. And that's all it is. It's not just shitting on one. I wish the one operated just as good and gave you just as much value as the other. But unfortunately, in this time right now, this day, it doesn't. That's why it's just hard. That's why it's just very hard. And that's not being like, oh, fanboy. That's not fanboy talk. That's just real shit. That's just real shit.
Yeah, I agree.
If they step it up and they give you everything that you should be getting as a consumer and as a gamer, and they give you that, then by all means buy it, because then it's fucking worth that. But it sucks right now, especially because you can't even. It's hard to get them, and then when you get them, you're paying $700, $800, $900 because you can't just normally go into a store and buy them. They're getting scalped anyway, and I feel bad for those people, unfortunately, that they just can't. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't go in, because some people just want a fucking game at the end of the day. Yeah. And people aren't looking to pay an extra $200-$300 that they might not have out of their pocket, for a system. But that's still the price that this demands, because even with everything I just listed to you, people still want to buy the fucking console anyway. Because some people just want to play 2K. Some people just want to play Warzone. Some people, some consumers, don't give a shit that it doesn't look as good. They just want to go online where their friends might be. And they said, oh, well, I seen this streamer playing it, and these games, I just want to play Final Fantasy. I just want to play, God of War. I just want to play that. I don't care how. Just you tell me it's 4K. You tell me it's nice, it's updated, it runs fast. Cool. That's all I need to know. I don't care about the technicals. But if you really break it down and you look at it and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like, because there's some people that just think that way. But it all depends on who you are as a consumer and as a gamer. That's really what it boils down to.
I agree with you 1,000%. And I'm guilty of being one of those guys who don't really care about the technical ends, man. How does it look? Does it look great? Is it what is it running at? Is it 4K?
Pixel for pixel? Am I getting the 60 frames all the time? Is it pinging it all the time, or is it dropping a little bit? I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled because I've been gaming on a PC for exclusively almost for like about 3-4 years. And I've had graphics cards. The last graphics card I had in this computer was a 2080 Ti. Not to get too crazy, but I play at 2K resolution, so 2560 by 1440. Right. It was 144 hertz refresh rate. The frames that I would get, unlimited frames, I would get over 150, 200 frames, because the card was just working so well on every game that I played. If the game was one of those ports over, like if I played Metal Gear Solid 5, it was always 60. It never dipped down. If it was Counter-Strike, it was like 300, 400 frames. If it was Overwatch, it was always 150, 200. Destiny, 180, 200 frames a second. Destiny on PC. So I get 60 frames or 120 frames on Xbox, but I get unlimited frames basically on the PC. Me as a gamer, I want the unlimited fucking frames. I want the mouse and keyboard. I love mouse. Me personally, I'll game both because I'm a gamer. I did console forever. I'll take the Xbox, whatever like that. I'll take Xbox controller. Personally, I love the Elite controller. I like the paddles or Scuff. I love gaming, but I don't have $180 to buy a fucking Elite controller. But when I did have the money, I invested well, and I bought this wireless mouse for $150. And this is the best mouse. This mouse alone was $150. Razer, not advertised and not sponsored, by the way. So shout out to Razer. Pay me. But this fucking mouse is amazing. It's the best mouse I've ever gamed on. And it's wireless. The battery lasts for about 70 hours. I have a little nice charging dock. The lights match when I play music. I could change the fucking lights and it glows. And I have the matching keyboard and the matching mouse pad and all that good shit. All to say, like, it's like it's the freedom, the movement, moving around and stuff, gaming. I slay out. I play Call of Duty. I try to play Call of Duty on Xbox. I'm going negative. I play Call of Duty on mouse and keyboard. I have over a 2.3 KD. So, I mean, you know what I mean? So it's like, for me, it's just night and day. So my preference is always going to be mouse and keyboard, PC and stuff, but I could appreciate console gaming because that's my roots. That's where I come from. I've always been a console gamer, and I could always be a console gamer. It wasn't in the cards back then because I was just consumed with PC. It's in the cards now. Now I am a console gamer again, you know? So
and see, for me, when I was back on PS3, I had a homeboy. He left the console world and he went PC, and he was telling me, he said, man, you don't understand the big difference it is. I said, I fucking don't. This was back in early PS. I just didn't get it because I had never seen anything on PC. Let me tell you, man, I cut on YouTube one day and I don't know who the fuck it was. It might have been it could have been this guy I follow on YouTube. You may follow him too, heard of Rad.
okay. What does he play?
this particular he plays a lot of things that you played from Destiny to Far Cry and just different things. This particular day he was playing Destiny and he was playing this shit on PC. And let me tell you, man. And at the time I was playing Destiny on PS4. I was looking at that shit like, what in the entire fuck is that? It looks like that.
It made you want to go to the store and buy a pre-build. That's what it made you do. It made you question why you actually play on PS4.
Now let me tell you, man. From that time on, I was like, yo, these graphics are shit. Like compared like the PC.
Compared
just compared to PC, I was like, yo, PC, man. Like, cause I always wonder why, like why PC guys always turn their noses up at console. I never knew why. But
right, all snubby, PC Master Race, all that shit. Fuck consoles.
Why? I'm like, man, I don't want to play no fucking mouse and keyboard. That's fucking weird. But let me tell you, man. Let me tell you, those fucking graphics on PC, that's something different. And I get it now. I fucking get why it goes for me. PC is always gonna be top. Like no console can fuck with PC ever. I'm sorry. It just can't. It just can't, man. I can't even imagine playing Destiny with those fucking pixels, dude. I can't.
And from a technical standpoint too, it's just you have to understand something. The current consoles, even that we're playing with, like I said, remember they're Ryzen 2. So AMD Gen 2 Ryzen processors, x86, not to get too, but those are the processors that are inside these new generation systems. We're talking about technology that's now back when it was being developed, even though they just came out in 2019. We're talking about 2018, 17. That's how old. So it's 2021.
Yeah.
That's the next thing too. A PC, because of how technology just is, and it's just lapping itself year after year after year. It's always going to be, because you still have to set up time to be like, okay, I got the next gen system coming. What's available now? What can I mass produce? Okay, I can mass produce this generation. But guess what? This generation is over next year.
Yeah.
So they're constantly playing that game. The only good thing about consoles now is because they're more closer to playing on a PC than ever before. Yeah. It's a lot easier for developers to code for the consoles. Yeah. So there's no more like, oh my God, I can't make a PC version and an Xbox or a PlayStation version. I can't do bullshit.
You can do both now.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Okay. Bullshit. Get Metal Gear Solid 5. Those are ports. But guess what? They still fucking run great on PC, and they run it unlimited. And that's another thing. You're not limited on PC. You're not limited. Whatever your screen monitor is and whatever your graphics card can support, that's the resolution you're getting. If you're gaming at 2K, it's 2K. You're gaming at 4K, it's 4K. If you're gaming at 8K, it's 8K. If you're gaming on 3 monitors, not every game supports this, but games like Gran Turismo, let's say, or even like Forza widescreen gaming, ultra wide gaming. Like, you have these crazy people on PC. I have friends of mine that have 49-inch widescreen, ultra wides, 49-inch displays. They're 32:9, fucking insane. But they sit up on top of the keyboard of the desk like this, and then all they got to do is just look around, move their eyes, and they see their full. It's like if you're playing Call of Duty and shit, and you could just look to your right, and you don't even have to turn your character. You just see the person. All you got to do is just look left, look right, and you just see what the fuck's happening. So then I'm just going to turn real quick and kill them. But I don't have to turn my head. I just see in my peripheral.
And see, I never knew why PC gamers had all those like screens. I never knew why. That's why. Okay, I get it.
That's why.
Okay. I see. I never knew, like, man, why do you need 3 screens to play this one game?
It's called surround sound. It used to be called AMD's technology. It was called iFinity back in early 2010s. It was called iFinity when you used to have to set them up. NVIDIA, they call it surround sound, surround gaming, basically surround gaming. Because now all the cards fully support it now, where they have multiple inputs, and as long as your monitors support it, bing, 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 plug them in, and you're good to go. And then you got the displays, But then what companies realize is like, oh, I got these people buying 3 of them. Why don't I just make one fucking display and charge $2,000 for it, or $1,400 for it? So Samsung said, fuck it, I'm going to make a 49-inch. And LG said, fuck it, I'm going to make a 49-inch and charge $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. And guess what? The monitors, they're not even 4K monitors. And they're sold out. And people can't even buy them because you know why? They're 240 hertz refresh rate. So when people are playing things like, so when you hear about 60 hertz and 120 hertz
Yes.
and 144 hertz.
Yes.
These fucking things are 240 hertz. And then you're going to have people in the background or even in the comments be like, who the fuck needs that? Ask somebody that's playing any first person shooter the difference between 30 FPS, 60 FPS, 120 FPS, and 144 FPS. And they'll tell you every time you go up, it's better. It's a better experience every single fucking time. Every single time. You just notice right now, just even just knowing that if you played Call of Duty on a last generation system and a current generation system, they're completely different. Completely different experiences. So
I'm loving,
so as a PC gamer, exactly, and me too. Because Treyarch, Treyarch's always been close to my heart. As far as I've always loved the way that they did their games and stuff. Zombies has always been cool, but multiplayer, even these last couple of years, like me and my dad, we go hard on that shit. Like when we game, he's a fucking nut when he plays. But our roots are from like Battlefield. That's why I'm so amped up for like something like a modern day Battlefield. Because I gotta be honest with you. Dude, I got to be honest with you. Battlefield 1 was cool, but Battlefield 5 didn't do it for me because I need to get out of the World War II era. I need to get out of that era, that old school. I need modern shooter. If you're going to give me a shooter, I want it in current day. Same thing with Call of Duty, same thing. Stop putting it like the rumors about the new Call of Duty being back in World War II. Not a fan. Not a fan. And literally, if it is, it could stay there. And this is a person that owns every Call of Duty every single year. It could fucking stay there, especially if I'm getting a Battlefield this year. That's going to be in modern times, at least modern times, because that's what I want out of my first person shooters. Now I've done the World War II shit, World at War, and even old school Battlefield, Vietnam, and all of those games. I've done that now. Even World War II. Because Call of Duty did it again. Call of Duty's original, if you go back and Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty Big Red 1, which I had on my PlayStation all of those games, the Medal of Honor, all of that. I've done World War II in my lifetime. I need modern. Give me modern. I'm tired. I've done it enough. Unless you give me something crazy and you throw out history and you give me fucking jetpacks, that's the only way I go. If they try to rewrite some alternate history and give you some jetpacks, that's the only way I check it out. If not, I'm good.
And you know what? For me, my favorite Battlefield was Hardline. Like that's my favorite one, just because it was just so.
And that was like an offshoot. It was that whole police thing, the cops and robbers.
It was different.
It was Battlefield, but it was a little bit.
It was nothing like they had done before, and I loved that. I said, man, that's why Hardline is always my favorite Battlefield to go to, because again, I'm tired of the war. Give me something different, just give me something different, man. And if Call of Duty does do one, like for me personally, like I just felt like they should have did a Call of Duty Ghost 2 by now. Ghost was my favorite one because of the Extinction multiplayer thing. I love Extinction. I was a hardcore Extinction guy. I supported Ghost. I'm
a fan of Uplink. You remember Uplink? Remember the Uplink game mode from Advanced? Dude, it's shit like that. Or even in this game, like I don't get, how do you have a 4v4 game and you don't have I follow competitive like Call of Duty and stuff. I love competitive Call of Duty. I still watch it as a fan. How do you not have Capture the Flag?
How you don't have Capture the Flag? That's what I said.
How do you not capture? We're going back to Halo date. How do you not have one of the basic formats of competitive like multiplayer gaming in your fucking game? Like, but that goes back to, it's like, oh, it's not in the cards. It's not hard to code in flag there, 2 points and fight. Like, you know what I mean? So that's just like, oh, it's not, whatever. It's just not there. So, you know what I mean? But it's, so even sometimes developers make those mishaps and shit. But yeah, I'm with you. Like I sometimes there's only so much of the same that you could do before you're like, I need something different. I can't just do the same. You can't just tell me, oh, max out Prestige to 1,000 and keep me in loop with new skins and a gun, the AK that has the little rocket, the ICBM. That's cool. When I when I turn the key and my AK flies off, like it looks like it's a missile launching. That's great. But the game is still exactly the fucking same. I have a cool skin, but the game is still the same game, and every couple of weeks I get new maps, which is cool, but it's still the same game. You got to give me a little bit, a little more variety, basically. So,
yeah, man. And just getting back to Sony, I mean, I want to shoot them some bell a little bit and just ask you this question about them and the expandable drive and they're not being ready by launch. Do you think the pandemic might have had anything to do with that?
It's a possibility for sure, but it's also still something though in your development. It wasn't like they didn't start developing the PS5 in 2020.
There you go.
The PS5 has been under development for years.
There you go.
Years. So with that in mind, how is that as you know, game files aren't getting any smaller. So you as a company, as a developer, your R&D, how do you not account for that? Or even in the business sense wise, if you wanted to even take advantage of the consumer or just be like that, how do you just not give the consumer the option to buy expandable fucking memory? It's now you can't. I think now I just saw on like, I think it was IGN or something that you could buy. There's an article I just read on IGN having to do with expandable IGN. Expandable,
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, expandable storage. I literally just read the article.
And see, me, I figured it was gonna maybe make an announcement at E3 about it, you know.
Yeah, but they're not at E3, so when the fuck are they gonna announce? Like, you know what I mean? Because that's also another part too, that you want to be so different and so special that you'll do fucking state of the play because you got nothing else to show. So you'll do state of play, and you'll show off Horizon, which is which is still exciting and stuff. I've never played Horizon Zero. I want to play Horizon, the first one. Forbidden West looked sick too. I definitely want to play the new one as well too. Yeah. But that's all you got for me though, because the reason why you got a state of play like that is because you can't show me anything else, unfortunately. On that new article that they just talked about, they got the 25 IPs. They said half of those are new IPs. So 12, 13 are brand new IPs. You could say that they're new thoughts and people are working on it. I could guarantee one of them might even be coming from Bungie. You know, that's because they're working on a new IP. So maybe they got something coming from down the Bungie pipeline because that connection's there because through Activision technically. Right. So maybe they got something. Maybe they paid Bungie like, yo, make us a game. You do Destiny shit, but yo, make us a game real quick. And then they could be like, but it's for us. So don't worry. You know what I mean? It's for us. So they'll take a third party developer and say. And that's another thing too. It's not just PS Studios, but they try to say PS Studios has 25 games coming. That's the claim. So I know I'm wrapping around and stuff like that, but it's like, you know, the E3 thing, it kills me because there's other things that they could show in it, but it's just not being prepared and or you just either you're not prepared or you don't have enough to show that you don't want to be embarrassed because it is honestly E3's a lot of the time it's an overhype. It's a dick measuring contest. And to roll out and a scissor reel to see what's going to be coming down the pipeline over the next 6 months to 2 years. Because sometimes you'll see a trailer for a game that won't even come out for the next 2 years. Yeah, it'll take years or something like Starfield or what, you know what I mean? You get the Starfield trailer 2 years ago, and then still you're not getting Starfield this year. It doesn't matter if it's fucking exclusive to Xbox anymore. You're still not fucking seeing it. So maybe I see some gameplay this year, but I don't know. There's only one thing on my mind that I really care about. It's Halo. That's the only thing that I want to see really. From the Xbox side, but I need to see God of War Ragnarok. Show me you got a demo, you got a video that you could show me. It doesn't have to be just the wheel and just the runes and stuff like that, and like the symbol, the Omega symbol and stuff. You could show me more than what the fuck you gave me a year ago or what it is. Like, you know what I mean? I want that. Show me that. And if you're gonna do it at your own shit, that's fine, but it better be before the end of this year.
Please.
And along with that, with those games, you better start talking about your system and not just that you got a dual sense fucking controller thing. And that's why it pisses me off because don't hype up the shit that you already have to distract people from what you're fucking missing. That's what pissed me off the most a couple of weeks back. Do you remember when they were showing you stuff? I forget what it was. It might have been another state of play that they had, but they were showing off like the benefits of like, you know, the PS5 console. But almost like it hasn't been out in sale for like the last like 4 or 5 months. Like as if people didn't know what a PS5 is and what it does. Like they didn't market it when it first launched. I was like, why are you doing? You're trying to distract people, unfortunately, from the fact that you don't have anything else to show. Like, so you're just like, oh, let me get people reacquainted with things. And, oh, this is how the controller works. And look, you could feel. But it pisses me off because I know how great the controller is. But maybe if I had a fucking hard drive to install my games on it, I would care more about the controller and not care that I can't fucking download any games on my hard drive because I have no space. But it's a shell game. It's like, don't look over here. Look here. I want you to look here. Don't look over there where we don't have dick for you going on. And we don't know when we're going to have anything going on. But pay attention right here. This is where we want you to look. That's what's unfortunate about that situation.
And it's crazy because every time they keep, because again, the controller is great. You know, I know Sensei don't love it. You know what I mean? The controller.
But the battery life and stuff like that, the battery life issues, like with the DualSense, and supposedly there's an issue, to come out. I think like it only has so many charges and stuff because it's not replaceable batteries, right?
No, it's not
It's
replacing
I think
batteries.
it's not replaceable battery, so it's USB-C charging, right?
Right,
But
right.
like with any device that's like that, you're limiting yourself. See, it's a good and a bad. Like when you have a controller that has a lithium battery, like you can't warranty that. I mean, you can warranty that controller if it fucks up before like the year or something like that. But anything after that, like you only get so many cycles and so many charges, like any other device, before that controller's eventually going to die on you.
Okay.
That's why another just plus side to the Xbox is that you have the option. You can use double A's,
Right.
or you could buy a plug and play kit, or you could just plug in the controller and that's it. But if you want to continue to use your PS5 controller wirelessly, there's going to be a day that controller dies and you're going to be forced to buy a new controller. If your analog stick doesn't go before that. And if you does it, because a lot of the times, or if you don't drop it, if you accidentally drop it, because I've been through controllers my life too. And that's not to say Xbox hasn't had issues with controllers too, because Elite controllers are made like shit.
Okay.
Elite controllers, I have buddies of mine that run through Elite controllers like they run through bottles of water because like the paddles break and things aren't working right and the thumbstick's not working right and stick drift and things like that. So it's like there are issues and you know what I mean? There's sore spots and pain spots and stuff, but that's why, and this is a consumer thing. So now anybody that's looking to buy an Elite controller, you shouldn't be buying it from anywhere else but a Best Buy, and you should be buying your warranty through them as well too. If you're buying peripherals, if you're buying peripherals right now, if you're a consumer and you're looking for peripherals, you should be buying from Best Buy, not an ad and not a sponsor. And you should be getting your warranty because you're going to pay a little bit more money on that. But guess what? That controller breaks. You go back into the fucking Best Buy within 2 years. And all you got to do, if you want, is just reattach the warranty and you get a brand new fucking controller that they hand right to you. No questions asked. Doesn't matter what the fuck happened to it.
And for the people that don't know, explain to them what you mean by the peripherals.
So peripheral. So basically anything that you're looking to buy that, whether it be any type of remote, I guess you would say remote, headset, anything. If you're using a gaming headset, gaming headsets you could buy anywhere. But me personally, this gaming headset, this was a Logitech Pro X headset, like $130. It has a USB dongle that connects to the PC, but I have an amp, like I have like a DAC. It's called a DAC on my PC. So I don't plug right to my PC. I plug through a DAC. Basically to control my volume. I can control my volume and set different levels. It's better for gaming, basically. But I also have the USB shit, so I can plug it into a PlayStation and it picks it up as a PlayStation headset, a wired USB PlayStation headset. Or I could just take the tip of this headset and plug it into the bottom of the 3.5 jack on the controller, and then I have a wired headset on the Xbox controller. But I got the insurance through Best Buy. So you see, I'm going to show you something real quick.
Okay.
See that crack right there? That happened. I took off the headset, and I have concrete floors. It fell on the concrete. So where I am in my room, it fell on the concrete. It snapped. The plastic snapped. I have a 2-year insurance on this. I go back to the store. I get a brand new fucking headset, and if I want, I just add the insurance back on for $20, and that's it. I don't have that problem anymore.
Nice.
You can't send that back into warranty or whatever like that. Some people just say, "Oh, fuck it, crazy glue, whatever." But if you want to try to be smart about it and not have to worry about problems, if you're buying any type of extra peripherals or you're looking to buy a controller and stuff, for now, personally, me, what I've been doing as a gamer for the last couple of years is trying to buy as much as I can, whatever I can from Best Buy, because they have the best warranty out there. Unless you could find another place to go that also offers insurance for your products that's going to give you that same no-nonsense bullshit. When I mean no-nonsense, I could literally go to Best Buy tomorrow and say, hey, I can't hear out of these anymore. They say, okay, go get a new one. Or they'll say, hey, we don't have that one in stock. I could order it for you and send it to you. Or I could order for you and have it come here. Or I'll give you the store credit, go buy something different. Or you could add the difference and you go get something better. And I've done that as well, too, because I used to have a SteelSeries headset. And they didn't have the SteelSeries at that time. So I switched over and I said, okay, I'll get the Logitech for now. So you could do shit like that, but you don't have that type of freedom because technically once you buy something from somewhere, that should be it. That should be your last thing. But in Best Buy, you buy something from them, you have their headset, your headset breaks, you don't want the same headset, you could technically be like, just give me the store credit. I'll go buy something else.
Okay.
They put it on a gift card for you, and boom, and you go buy. Maybe you get some Astros. Maybe you didn't have the money to buy Astros. Maybe you didn't have the 250 to buy the DAC and the fucking the mix amp and the headsets. But maybe after a couple of months, your headset, breaks, something happens, whatever like that. You go back in. Okay, you got the money now. You got the difference. So then, and maybe they're on sale too. Maybe they're not 250. Maybe they're 187 because it's the fucking holidays.
Yeah.
Or 180. Great. I'm gonna now take my store credit and go get those new headphones.
Hell yeah, hey, get your warranty, man, please. Y'all heard it first here, man. Get your warranty, man. Get your warranty.
I mean, that's just me. That's my personal experience. I might be airing out some shit. Like, I'm just saying, that's what I've been doing. That's how I've been, I guess you could say, gaming the system, because I have to try to be smart about decisions. I don't want to keep having to buy new headsets or a new or new things like that. Like, and I also take care of my shit, but accidents happen. Shit happens. Things break. And how do you account for that? That's just one way I've been able to account for shit like that.
Okay. Did you find the article on the USB
that article
drive?
I'm trying to look for it now. I swear to God, I should have sent it to you. Some of this stuff I need a pin, but I didn't find it. But I'm almost, if I just went to IGN, if you want to kind of talk about something else real quick. I know I'm vamping. This would be the vamping part.
All right.
Let's see. I can multitask too if you want to talk. So good.
So like, I know you mentioned with PlayStation, one of the knocks that you had of them releasing first person shooters not in great states at first. What specific games do you think so far that they released that weren't in great states when they first came out? Well, you think they weren't?
I think the issues that they had that you saw Returnal. I think there was enough people talking about like crashes, especially in a game like Returnal, where there's that roguelike simulation where it's like you can't save the fucking game. You have to basically beat the game or you don't have the game. So imagine getting to a certain part of the game and then your PlayStation just decides to shut off, and guess what? You just lost everything.
And see me,
and you just shit like you know what I mean?
I want to just say I have Returnal and I put in so many hours on it because again, it's one of those fucking games, man, where you either you beat it or bust first time around, or you have to start all the way the fuck over. So for me, I didn't go through those crashing issues. I haven't had any issues.
Which is good, but that's good, right? Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Yes.
I hadn't had any of those crashing issues yet. I hate that it doesn't have a save part. I do hate that. I enjoy the gameplay. I enjoy the graphics. I love how they made it. I'm a big fan of the Returnal. I love the challenge, so to speak. I hadn't had any of those crashing issues, and I'm glad I haven't. I have seen it though. I'm not glad like I haven't seen it. I have seen people talk about those issues. I have seen that.
Yeah.
Overall, I feel like.
But that's a first, and then my thing is, and it's a first party game, so that's only my gripe with it. Like it's not like a Fallout 76 where we saw what happened with that. But that's a third party game, so it's hard to blame that. But when it's in house, when it's your game, look, they killed Halo before Halo even fucking came out. Look what they did to Halo Infinite when they showed off Halo Infinite during E3, and then everybody was like, "What the fuck is that?" Me, I thought I was like, "Hey, I thought it was great." I was one of those people. I was like, "This looks good. I like this." But then you had the real hardcore that's like, "That's not that's not supposed to look like that." And it was so much fucking pressure that I put on that 343 basically said, "Oh shit, okay, well, it's not coming out this year." Right. Fast forward now, and now we're going to be getting more at this E3 about it. But they basically put it in the fucking shelf and they said, all right, it's not coming out. That's a first party title. That's their baby. And that was at the cusp of a new system that was supposed to launch with, understand this, that was supposed to come out with the Series X and S.
It was
supposed to launch the fucking system and basically be like your number one, because if you go back to the original Xbox, I mean, OG Xbox, Combat Evolved launched with the original Xbox. So when Halo Combat Evolved, yes. Yeah. So 20 years, you got all this history. You're 19 years in, because 2001, right? But you're 19 years in, and you want to make that splash. You got a brand new system, next gen system, and you want a first party title. And no, so at least to the consumers, to the people that were looking forward to it, and said that nope, that we don't like that, and they said okay. I mean, I guess, but the whole idea was, and the reason I say that to say is they had the ability to be like, fuck it. All right, let's put it away and let's work on it. And then they went a whole year, and then pandemic, and then all that shit. And then now they got to work through a pandemic and try to fix what people thought was fucking wrong with that game, which is a whole other topic. So let's see what happens. There's a possibility, and I'm not saying this is sure or not. There's a possibility that Infinite doesn't come out this year. I think that's highly unlikely. I think Halo Infinite drops this fall, but we got to see where it's at in their development, because they might come out and be like, hey, this looks great, right? Okay, well, it can't come out until February or March or something. I hope they don't do that, because I'm a fan, and I was getting that on I was getting that on my PC. I was getting ready to, Master Chief's gonna look fucking great on my PC. And then I'm like, okay, well, Master Chief's gonna look great on my fucking Xbox, whatever, you know what I mean? And I hope it still comes out the way, but there's still going to be other titles that come out too that I'm excited for, but I need that game to come out, me personally as a fan. So so like with the whole Returnal thing, like that's the only thing, like as a first party game, like you just have to take a little more ownership into that. Or even with the update with The Last of Us, like that was another thing with the 60 frames and stuff like that. Like that was cool that they did that, but I think it needed to come, like, you know what I mean? Like there's certain things, look what Xbox did with the FPS boost.
And you know what I mean? I did a podcast where I talked about the because I don't know if you know, but PlayStation has the PlayStation Boost now for certain specific titles. For certain titles, yes. And you know, they got that off, you know, from Microsoft, of course. You know what I mean? And I understand
that's a good thing, though.
It is.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I love it. But and I understand why, like, you know, with The Last of Us 2, why they didn't really push that one as a PS5 version at first, because me personally, they dropped it like June of like last year maybe, and by the time the PS5 came out, I really didn't want to. I probably wouldn't have bought it, because I had already bought it on PS4, and if it could have made the PS5 upgrade, I get it, but I don't know. For me personally, I want to play newer stuff. We know about The Last of Us, and you gave us that already. Like let's get to some more exclusive titles, because I'm not gonna lie, that's one reason why I can't just be an Xbox exclusive guy, because I'm literally so tied into so many exclusives on Xbox with God of War and Horizon. Just
on PlayStation, you mean?
Yeah,
you're tied in with exclusive on PlayStation. No, you're good.
Yeah. I'm just. I know what you meant. I'm tied in like they have me. So now I'm like, man, I'm checking for it. You know, The Last of Us 3 or whatever you're gonna do, or what's next, like Spider-Man and stuff. I'm so tied into them that like I can't just go Xbox only. So like when they drop exclusives like The Return, I'm hyped and I'm geeked and I love it. You know what I mean? And now I'm still like, yo, where is the fucking extended storage? I'm like, yeah, okay. It looks great, but again, let's take care of the smaller things first, and then give me this stuff. And again, I'm pissed off.
I found the article.
Okay, go ahead.
So IGN. So this was May 26th. I know I've seen it. Just had a Google. Western Digital's new external SSDs are designed for PS5 and Xbox Series X, but won't play new gen games. So this is something that we already discussed and talked about. Basically, Western Digital has announced 2 new external SSDs under the Western Digital Black brand for the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Important to note that these new external SSDs are not designed to expand the SSD storage currently available on the PS5 and Xbox Series XS, but rather this is a backup hard drive for both consoles. And they basically go on to say that you'll be able to store your games, but you won't be able to play directly off the hard drive. So now, and then they say, however, you can store and play PS4 and Xbox One games on the console, meaning you could use the device as an alternate to store your old games instead of having to sacrifice some of your already limited internal storage on your 9th generation console. It says both external SSDs are also compatible with PC in addition to the 8th generation consoles for PS4 and Xbox One. There's a little caveat here for Sony. It goes, Sony right here. Sony may release an update this summer that will allow you to upgrade your internal storage with the compatible M.S SSD drive. I think they meant to say M.2 because that's the slot that we were talking about. So I think that was a typo there.
Yeah.
And then they have a link to this article, which was nice to M.2. So this was back in February, though. PlayStation 5 internal storage upgrades will reportedly be enabled this summer. So February 26th, we're now in June, but February 26th was the article you have to go to to find out when expandable memory would be coming to the PlayStation 5.
And bro,
then now you get the Western Digital,
And bro, I read that fucking article in February. Let me just say that I read the exact fucking article word for fucking word. I know about the fucking MS.
Right. So you already knew what you
already knew about that
right,
bullshit,
you knew where I was
man.
going.
That's new. That's not new. Fucking. I don't care. If it's not for the next gen games, I don't want the fucking drive. I just don't. Yo, give me something now. It is June. You're not going to E3. Okay, what? A couple of more days, they're going to give us like another 15 more minutes of the Forbidden Horizon West. That's cool, but guess what? I don't really give a fuck, because guess what? In my mind, another game I'm going to have to move some more storage off of my hard drive to fucking play. No, let's get to the small things first. The extended drive, we need that. Like, yeah, I don't want to hear that. Listen, Sony, I don't want to hear about another fucking exclusive until y'all give us a fucking drive. Like, yo, we need a drive to store these fucking games on. I don't want to hear about a fucking Slim coming out in December. I don't want to hear about I saw them. I did my pod on your fucking new controllers and all that. The red and the blue, cool. Where's the fucking drive? You're coming out with these fancy fucking controllers. We don't need them. Newsflash. I know you're trying to keep up with Xbox, because they dropped the fire red one. They dropped the nice navy blue one. They just came out with the Elder Scrolls one, which is stupid fire. Oh my God. Don't even get me started on that controller. But I don't care about your PlayStation 5 remote. At this point, let me tell you something. I love the remote. Y'all sold me on it. I bought two. I have two white ones. I don't need an extra one right now. You know what I do need, though? An extended drive, for Christ's sake. I've had the game since November. When are you going to? November's all, if we want to be technical, November's almost here again. We are halfway through 2021, and guess who don't have an extended drive yet? PlayStation 5. And guess here's the thing. Guess who hasn't even said when they're going to give us an exact date? Sony. We don't even know. You keep saying this summer. When? It's June.
Right, it's broad. Right, we're June. June 21st is the start of summer. So am I to expect sometime around E3, after E3, maybe you talk about it? Maybe it just comes up. No, because what's going to happen is you're just going to get a tweet. A tweet's going to go out, and it's going to be from PlayStation. They're going to tell you, oh, by the way, expandable, it's ready. This update coming, this next patch coming, you download the update, and you could go and open up, and we'll show you, here's the manual, go and open up your PlayStation, we're going to show you how to do it, and then pop in your drive. But you still have to go out and buy your drive, but that's better than not having anything at all.
And you know, I'll take that if I still have the.
And hopefully they don't fuck people over, because there are going to be some people that want to buy bigger M.2 drives, and hopefully they don't limit that to like, that slot better be able to hold, and their software better be able to hold at least a terabit. At least 1 terabit, at least. Because if not, that's some bullshit. Especially if they only let you get drives up to 512 gigabytes.
Yo, let me tell you, man.
Hopefully they don't do that.
I'm gonna lose my shit, man. I promise you. I'm gonna lose my shit if that's the case. I promise you, man. Because I'm the one that made me go out and buy the 2 terabyte one, just because. I don't want to have to. I don't have to think.
You don't have to worry about it. You don't want to worry about it. You just want to have it, and then let that be that.
Let that be that, man. Especially if I'm gonna have to keep going in my PS5, popping this part open and stuff. I'm not a technical guy, dude. I just want to plug my shit in and go. Like, it's 2021. Yep. I don't want to have to pop my PS5 open and risk fucking my shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not that guy, man. So again, I say all that to say, we had this conversation to say, man, you know, I was thinking about it from a plug and play standpoint, that they're both the same. That may be somewhat true visually. But boy, let me tell you, man, when I see people say, no, they're not, and I hear their reasons, like I heard Sensei reasons, I heard your reasons, I get it now. I was educated on how just how blindfolded that I have been by Sony by all these years. Like, and I love that you mentioned the Destiny roadmap, because it got me thinking, like, other games do roadmaps as well. They say, yo, here, like I'm a huge Borderlands guy. I love their roadmap. Yo, you go this date, we're gonna give you the new DLC, and then on this date, it's gonna be some kind of tournament or some kind of holiday festive thing going on. I love that. I love how transparent Randy pitched for and everybody over there is at fucking
it gives you something to look forward to and to be excited for. It gets you hyped. That's all it is. That's all you need. And then sometimes that's all you just need as a consumer and as a fan and things like that, just to keep you going. But when you don't get that at all, then it turns into, especially, and then when you realize that that's something that it should be, it's not like it's a courtesy. It's something that should be done. Just like in real situation, if you were trading stocks, just like a company every quarter has to come out and be like, yo, here's how we did as a business. Yeah. And then that can affect how a stock is the same way these companies should come out to the people buying their shit and saying, yo, here's how we did this quarter, but here's what we got coming on, whether it be games or updates to the fucking console. You're not asking for much. You're really not. Yeah. But see, that's why when you have mouthpieces like Larry Herb, Major Nelson from Xbox, who's been doing this since the year of the flood for Xbox. But when you have somebody like him that basically has a blog dedicated to everything Xbox, and he never shuts the fuck up. You can't get him to shut up because he's constantly telling you, oh, hey guys, by the way, new update coming out for Xbox. It's going to do this, and that. Oh, by the way, they just fixed up here's quick save. It just got improved. It's a little bit better now. Boom, here coming down the way. He can't shut the fuck up. Oh, by the way, yo, guys, these new games are on Game Pass. Go check it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for me, I don't see that. And so there's no Major Nelson for Sony. Like everybody had, like, you know what I mean? I need the Major Nelson. I need the community manager. Give me on Destiny. You used to have Deej. And then, but now you got like Cosmos. You got to get community managers. They give weekly fucking updates on the game. Updates on the game. And on a game that, it's being played by a lot of people. But even when it wasn't played by a lot of people, they still fucking gave weekly updates. This week, it's called the TWAB. This week at Bungie. And even when it didn't have as many, and they're about to launch fucking crossplay and stuff like that. But you look at a company as Sony that's fucking probably 10, 20, 30 times the size of Bungie. And you don't hear fucking dick from them directly. Like today, like I said, their blog just came out today where they had some things, and we could kind of transfer over into this a little bit if you're okay with it. I literally had something that I wanted to read from them because I literally just had it up. And it's good because it's finally information that you're getting from that side. So it was, let's see. I have the article here. I'm going to send it over to you. I'm going to DM to it as well. So it's Herman Hulst. So Herman Hulst, Q&A, what's next for PlayStation Studios? So this was PlayStation.blog. So I'm going to DM it over to you. But the biggest thing and the biggest takeaway that they said was right here. I have it highlighted. So here, where it makes sense to develop a title for both PS4 and PS5, for Horizon Forbidden West, the next God of War, GT7, Gran Turismo 7. So we'll continue looking at that. And if PS4 owners want to play that game, then they can. If they want to go on and play the PS5 version, that game will be there for them. That being said, it's also very important to have showpieces for the PS5, hence the development of Returnal and Ratchet that are exclusive for PS5. So just like Xbox has gone through that transition period of, we got the Xbox One, right? And we have the Xbox Series X and S. And we're in that development platform where now new developers are like, well, fuck, wait, do we have to keep making for the old systems? Or can we? Because unfortunately, that fucks with a developer. If you're telling a developer, this is what happened with Cyberpunk, just like what happened with Cyberpunk, where they had to make current gen and last gen games. Did you see how fucking Cyberpunk ran on a PS4 and on an Xbox One? I rest my case. I don't even need to go into that anymore. It was kind of like when they released the Black Ops 3 only multiplayer for fucking Xbox. Remember that?
Terrible.
Remember when they did that one for the original Xbox 360 when it was on when you could get on Xbox One, but they were still trying to support because they saw how many people were there. But it was, you looked at it and said, what the fuck is this? I mean, at least they got something, but what the fuck is this? It's the same thing. At one point or another, eventually you got to cut the cord. And it sucks because there's still a lot of gamers that are hanging out in the last generation because not everybody could get it. Right. But it's going to come to a point where you're making games for both generations. And unfortunately, you're losing focus, and one generation is going to suffer more than the other, especially if you're not focusing on the new generation. If you're still worried about the games being able to run on a PS4 and a PS4 Pro, and your main focus isn't also your current generation, making sure that it doesn't run perfect on that, there's a problem. Because I understand that you're just trying to sell, and as a consumer, as a business, you want to try to get as much as possible. So why not push it to all your devices? But it's a problem when the development fucking sucks, because you're telling them now to develop basically for 3 different fucking consoles. In PlayStation, and the same thing with Xbox as a first party thing. So it's like they're still going to support it, but then they said Returnal, Ratchet. Hey, guess what? You're not seeing that on PS4. So I mean, it sucks for the older generation, of gamers that weren't able to upgrade. But to a certain extent, it's got to be fair. There still needs to be that transition, like everything else. Eventually, you got to come over if you want to start playing the new shit. You got to just come over, find a way to come over, So that was something, and they talked about a lot of different things. PC, because that was another big question that was actually talked about. How does PC? I'm trying to find it specifically, but it says here. I'm sorry, I just had the article up right here. Okay, so another topic here. How does PC fit into the worldview of PlayStation Studios moving forward? Herman's response: we're still early in our planning for PC, and Horizon Zero Dawn has been very successful. I think it shows there's an appetite for gamers outside the PlayStation ecosystem to experience the amazing portfolio of games that PlayStation fans have enjoyed for years. But I want to emphasize that PlayStation will remain the best place to play our. This is where he has to make sure that this is telling people that are fans of PlayStation, like, dude, don't worry. Like, we're not going to fuck you over and leave you for PC, even though we still want to expand the market and get a taste of that money, because right now we're only stuck with whoever buys our PlayStation. Whereas if we opened it up, kind of like Microsoft and Windows and Game Pass, where it's like, dude, get Game Pass, play the new fucking Halo on PC. You know what? It's stuff like that. So to this point, so they're like, so basically he continues on to say, emphasize PlayStation, the best place to play our PlayStation Studio titles at launch. But we do value PC gamers, and we'll continue to look at the right times to launch each game. Ben Studios just released the PC version of Days Gone on May 18th. So that's about 2 years after the PS4 release.
Right.
So, and you have to remember too, like things like Death Stranding.
Yeah.
So Death Stranding, that was, you know what I mean? That came to PC, but it was like a year. So that's another thing. This always goes back to the conversation of like, okay, you could stream the movie at home or you could watch it in the movie theaters. And then it's like, it's that conversation. It's like, well, yeah, I think that's really cool that I can stream it at home, but you know what? Maybe I want to go and fucking sit in front of the IMAX and watch it on the, you know what I mean? And experience it like that. So I think to a certain extent, for PC gamers, it's good news. We're going to get Sony exclusives. You don't have to buy a PlayStation. But there's going to be things that you miss out on, because guess what? Your DualSense controller isn't going to work. It's going to work on your PC, but you're not going to get the same feedback. It's not going to be coded to basically work the same way. So in order for you to fully take advantage of that experience that those first party titles are going to give to you, you're going to have a PlayStation. And not everybody can have their PC fucking set up at their TV. I'll tell you this much right now. If anybody set it, like most of people's setups, gamers or whatever like that, you got your TV. It's probably not unless you have a game room or whatever like that. Like your TV is probably in your living room or it's in your bedroom. And it might not be where your PC setup is. I'll tell you that as a PC gamer. You're not picking up your fucking computer every time you want to go over and play on your 4K thing. You know what I mean? There's a lot of money involved and a lot of moving parts involved in shit. So the end result is what? You go and you buy a fucking PlayStation and you make sure you set it up on your nice TV if you want to play your PlayStation exclusives. So, and then eventually you get to play it on the PC and get more frames and maybe a little better, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. And it plays a little bit smoother and stuff because you get that PC experience. Maybe you want to play on mouse and keyboard and get supported with mouse and keyboard and stuff. That's cool. But it's cool. So at least it's cool there. But, going back, they talk about a few other things, but this is cool. But when was the last time they did something like this? So this just released today. So what was the last time they actually gave, because this is sort of like a roadmap kind of thing, we could say. So do you remember the last time they released an article? Like how long ago was it?
The last time they released the article, it could have been the one that I read back in fucking February about when the update was coming out where you could transfer the games to the current USB drive that you got.
Nothing like, nothing about like how. Yeah, so how important is the new IP for PlayStation Studios? How have the teams at PlayStation Studios been able to cope and adapt with these big challenges over the last year? So that's another thing too. People want to realize how a developer's been able to cope and what they've been able to do, because other developers have been transparent. Bungie has been out. Bungie's made fucking vid docs. You know how Bungie does vid docs basically on their development process?
Yeah, I love those. Yo, let me tell you something.
How hard is to put that? How hard is to put something like that together though? Like think about that for a second. You know what I mean?
I was going to mention that shit because that was the thing with me that kept me around with fucking Destiny was those fucking vid docs. Yo, when that was coming out with those fucking DLCs, where I was glued. Like I was like, holy shit!
Yo, what's coming? You see a weapon. You see a weapon that hasn't come out yet. You see abilities that haven't come out. Remember Remember when they added in Destiny 2 when they added the what did they add? They added the grab ability to do the finisher ability. Remember that was in a vid doc. They first showed that off, and everybody was like, "Yo, what the fuck was that?
What was that?
What was finishers? I want to do that. I can do a finisher if I get them at low health. How's that going to work?" That was huge, and people lost their. Or when they show off new exotics, they're like, "Hey, we're play testing an exotic now, and right now it does this," and they pull back a bow, and then you see it, and then the bow comes out in the game a couple of months later, and you're like, "Oh shit, I remember it from that vid doc." How hard is that to get a video, a 15, 20-minute video together where you just go through and like,
bro, that was my point I wanted to get to about how certain games do roadmaps. And I was getting ready to say how Destiny was doing the vid roadmap. So let me tell you, my favorite one real quick was the Taken King one. When they were rolling out that fucking Taken King, I was hyped as fuck. I could break my fucking computer. I would get so hyped. I mean, did you see this shit? Did you see the House of Osiris and all this shit they got going on? The Vault of Glass? Oh my, don't even get me started on how hyped I was every time they dropped the fucking vid doc, man. And I'm like, and then just let alone like standalone games, they'll give you a rollout and a roadmap of what to expect. Borderlands, even Fallout, even though it wasn't successful. Shit, even Anthem gave you some kind of roadmap of what you can expect. Wasn't successful, but I was hyped for shit like that. It gets me hyped. So the fact that
you knew what was coming. You knew what was coming. Man. You had something. You knew what was coming. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the fact that Sony does far, like and again, I got educated on y'all show, and I love Sony, but I just got to thinking like just how much of a shitty job that they've done with relaying information. Because I got to thinking, where do I grab most of my information when it comes to Sony? It's not Sony. I grab it from podcasters. I still get the Game Inform magazines. I get the Game Inform magazines just to read up on what new games are coming because I can't rely on Sony to really tell me shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I get it, you know, the tight lip and it's the element of surprise with them, I guess, or complacency, whatever the fuck it is. I don't really like it. I don't like it. And again, giving Xbox flowers. It's what I love about them. Yo, we gonna raise the price of the Game Pass and Xbox Live Gold. Nah, not so fast. We don't like that shit. Oh, my bad, Microsoft. Oh, my bad. That's what they told us. My bad. We ain't gonna do it then. Y'all don't like it. We're not gonna do it. Our bad. We thought we were, but y'all don't like it, so we're gonna chill out. Matter of fact, guess what else we're gonna do? We're gonna give y'all fucking Outriders on Game Pass. There you have it. And let me tell you about that. When I first saw the game, I went and pre-ordered for the PS5 immediately. I got to have it. I love fucking Outriders. PS5 first day edition. When Xbox said they was dropping that shit on Game Pass, I said, let me tell you, man, they're not playing no fucking games this year. And let me tell you, I'm so hyped to see what they're going to be doing at E3 and what they're going to give us on Game Pass. Because ain't no fucking and right now, the gloves are off.
The sleepers, you're right, because you're going to get sleepers that day during the conference. You know, you're going to get Game Pass games that are going to be dropping immediately.
Yes.
My big thing, I've said it on the podcast, I'll say it again, and I'll say it until I'm blue in the fucking face. Battlefield 6.
Yes.
My prediction will be on Game Pass. Will be day and date. Will be day and date on fucking Game Pass. You understand how fucking insane that would be? Man, the magnitude of that game being on Game Pass day one.
That's going to be crazy. Like that like for real though. If they do that, man,
that's next level shit, dude. That's next level. That's like, and then we didn't even talk about, and that's before they even get to, because remember, it's the Xbox and Bethesda showcase. So that $7.5 billion acquisition and then you still got all of that shit coming down the pipeline. Maybe we see some Starfield, maybe not. Maybe we see some Elder Scrolls, maybe not. Who knows? I hope so, because what do you even do? What you been doing? So it's like, let's see what you got coming. But the fact is, right now, Wolfenstein, Doom, like Doom Eternal. I saw Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal on the PC. Doom Eternal's gotten so many good reviews. I haven't even played it yet, but it's on fucking Game Pass. I'm gonna play it because Doom is just sick. Doom is like old school. Like if you've been gaming for a while, old, like, you know what I mean. Like I was even Doom 64. Remember Doom 64? Like, you know what I mean. But I'm also like, remember. You remember Torque? That was another game too. But that's that was like that Seeds of Evil. Like that's where, I mean, I'm all over the place. That was when I had my N64 moments. I was cruising world. I was doing cruising USA, cruising world, fucking Torque, Seeds of Evil, Smash Brothers, all of that. That was my little Nintendo thing and stuff like that. Then I was like, yo, okay, cool. Got the PlayStation 1, Fighting Force. Remember Fighting Force?
Yes.
Remember PS1? Remember Fighting Force? That old school old school shit. NFL Blitz with the multi-tap. My buddy had the multi-tap upstairs, so the kids from the block come upstairs and the 4-player NFL Blitz on the PS1 with the multi-tap. Crazy shit. Before you even had analogs inside the controllers, when you just had the great control, the boomerang, when you had the old school boomerang. Like, you know what I mean? Or Road Rash. Road Rash on the PS1. That was old school shit, dude. Old school shit. So it's like stuff like that. It just, stuff like that. It's like, wow, that's crazy. And then the fact that on the Xbox side, the catalog, like the fact that I'm looking back on the games, the 360 games that I own that I bought, I could download them and play them right now on my account. I'm like, oh, that's fucking crazy. That's crazy. Not even, it's got one of the old school. I got one. I think it was the Frenzy, original Xbox. I forget the Frenzy game. It was like this weird multiplayer game or something like that. I can't think of the name. It was something having to do with lights, and it almost looked like Tron and shit, but it was like a multiplayer game. Okay. It was on original Xbox and Xbox Live and stuff like that. But it was like a party game. One of those party games. I want to say it's like Feeding Frenzy or something like that. I could fucking download it and play it right now. It was OG Xbox. I'm like, oh, that's fucking crazy. I wish they had some shit like that on the PlayStation side, because I'll tell you this much. How many fucking games I'd go back to? You know how many games the library they have for PS2 alone? Like, you understand the library that they go back to, or their drives? Why am I not getting a BIOS chip in every one of these fucking consoles so I could pop in a PS2 game on a PlayStation? Why don't you can't do that? You can't. I'm saying, I know. I open up. It's can't work, but I can't. You can't put a chip in there. I can't pop in my favorite fucking PS2 game. I gotta go and get I gotta pray that you make an HD version of it, and then maybe you could sell it back to me, and me, like a dickhead, will buy it again because that was nostalgia and that was my childhood back in the day. So I gotta play it. You know what I mean? Or what do I gotta do? I gotta go to the aftermarket and I gotta try to find a fucking working PS2 and get some conversion kits, because I don't have no HDMI. So I have HDMI only inputs. So now I gotta find like an S video, red, white, and blue fucking switch up to HDMI, and I gotta go crazy because I one day I wake up and I'm like, yo, I really wish I was able to play fucking Dark Cloud 2, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's shit like that. Like, I wish that the consoles did that more, and they didn't cockblock you, because you have that history. You have such a rich history. Why would you shut that off? Why would you turn that off?
Especially when your competitor is killing this shit. It's 2021, and I can't even play games back to the PlayStation 3. You shitting me right now? That's my other knock. That's my other knock with Sony. I could go like I tell my wife all the time, like, man, like, yo, what the fuck are they doing? It is 2021, and I can't even play a PlayStation 3 game and my PlayStation 5. Meanwhile, I'm over here downloading fucking Alan Quake from fucking 360 on my fucking Series S, and fucking games like Rise, Empire of
and Alan Wake, and that was I think the HD. That was the Alan Wake 360. Remember, that was an Xbox title. That was an Xbox title. Right. You remember? I don't even know if they have it yet, but you remember here, I'll really blow your mind too, because this was great. Remember Indigo Prophecy? Indigo Prophecy? You know that company. You know what that company went on to make, right? You know what the history of that company, what they made. Heavy Rain on the PS3.
That's my shit. I still got it. What?
Same company. And guess what? And Beyond Human, same company.
Wow.
Same company. All those decision making all of that, the Ellen
Right.
Page game that I'm
Right.
drawing a blank. There was a PS4 game that come out, but yeah, Beyond Human, Detroit
Yeah.
Beyond, all of that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
going Indigo Prophecy. That was an
Right.
Xbox only fucking title all the way back in the day, dude. That was that, and it was games like that, dude. Like it's like that's insane. And it was original on Xbox, and then once it went to Sony, then it was just like only Sony titles because
Yeah.
Beyond Human that was
Yeah.
exclusive to Sony.
Exclusive, yep.
Heavy Rain exclusive to Sony and stuff
yep.
like that. So that was a sick pickup for them. The
Yeah,
fact that
it
they were able to
was.
get, because that game on original Xbox, you look back, people like pass over that game. They're like, oh, I don't remember it. That game was fucking crazy.
That game was crazy.
Was insane.
That game was crazy, man. I'm telling you, man.
Or like even like something crazy like Killer 7. You ever remember a game called Killer 7 on the PS2?
Killer 7.
You look up Killer 7. That game, they went on to make another, like a Wii version of it too, which I can't. It was this guy in a chainsaw, and it had this whole black and white theme. But Killer 7 is one of the most trippiest fucking games you will ever play or experience. I would go to YouTube, and when you have a chance, look that shit up. That was a game that I dumped hours in on my PS2, but that company also continued to make games, but they stopped. I don't think they made games anymore for like Sony. Their games they started to make for Nintendo.
Okay.
They had like a continuation, like so they went on. So when the Wii, I think it was when the Wii came out, and then not the Switch, but I think when the Wii came out, or because it was also on the GameCube. Killer 7 was on the GameCube as well. I don't think it was on. It might have been on the Xbox as well too. So it could have been like all three, but then they started to just they switched over, and then they made an exclusive game for the Wii. And it had to do with this guy with a fucking chainsaw, and the art form was black and white. And then when you cut somebody in half, it bled red all over the screen and shit. It was crazy. I remember my brother played it. I can't think of the name right now, but when I find it, I'll send it to you. But that game was twisted like that. I played that game as a kid, and that game was fucked in the head. Like that game was a fucking crazy. It's not a game. It's not a game that like a young teenager should basically be playing. It's not something that's like trying to get a teenager now to play like Detroit Become Human. That's not a game where you have to psychoanalyze and shit like that. Listen, shooting, not to say I'm not going to be the rating police and be like, oh, you shouldn't let your son and daughter play Call of Duty. I was that kid playing fucking Halo. In high school, I didn't become a mass murderer or anything like that. I understand that this is a video game. This is where my friends are, or whatever. So I'm all about parenting, and everybody parent the way that they want to parent and stuff. But there are some games to a certain extent where it's like the critical thinking and analyzing that maybe on the younger side, maybe the kid shouldn't be playing right away because they're a little too intense. Where it's like, wait, I'm an android in Beyond Human, and I have to decide whether to save that human or the complexities actually of the story itself. Maybe it's a little too much for like a younger teenager to like understand and stuff like that. So in that case, I would say, hey, maybe they're not ready to play that game yet. Doesn't matter how advanced you are. Yeah. And then as long as they understand that the Call of Duties and all of that shit of the world, it's just a video game and this is just a game and stuff. I don't believe that it leads to anything that they used to say back. Manson made all of our kids want to go shoot ups and all that. That's bullshit. It's bad parenting and not paying attention to like what your kids are doing. And that's just my little rant about that, basically. Like, you know what I mean? Like you yourself as a parent, if you have kids, it's your responsibility to understand what they want to do. You could set the terms on what they're able to play and stuff like that. But just understand that you also instill in them a lot. And you could instill in them and make them understand that, hey, this is a video game, and understand that this is rooted in the game, and that none of this that you do in this game or whatever like that. Like if you're letting them play Grand Theft Auto or something like that. I played Grand Theft Auto at a young age. Just let them understand, like, hey, you could play Grand Theft Auto, but just understand this is a video game. This is not how you act in the real world. This is not what you do in the real world. Understand that you only act and behave like this, and it might be funny here in this game, but the second you turn it off, you don't act like that anymore, and that's not what you do outside of it. You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
that's my little rant about that.
I agree, man. I 1000% agree, man. Man, look, it's crazy. I definitely, man, I definitely appreciate you coming on here, man, and just, you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I feel like I taken over and shit, and like I'm like really sometimes when you get me going, like you can't. I'm bad like that. Like I have like I like to fucking talk and interact with people and shit. And sometimes when I get going on a topic, I'll just go until you tell me to shut the fuck up. I'll be honest with you. So hopefully it was okay. Hopefully I wasn't too bad with cutting you off and shit like that.
You was perfect.
That's how I am sometimes.
You was perfect, man. Like I gotta have you on here again, man, so we can talk some more, man.
For sure. Maybe we'll get Kills on here and we'll do more. You know what I mean? Like we'll definitely do some more crush shit for sure. Because I know he would be down to do 1000% and stuff like that. Because I'm still new to the whole podding shit and stuff, but I watch a lot of I ingest a lot of pods. Joe Budden podcast. Like I'm from New York, so it's like I listen to JPP Yeah, I'm from New York, so it's like I grew like you know what I mean. Like I was like listening to Rogan too, but I'm not listening to him on Spotify. Like I was watching his YouTube videos, but like things about gaming and stuff, gaming podcasts I listen to all the time, regular podcasts whenever I can. Because sometimes what I'm doing, people are like, oh, what do you like to do when you play games? Sometimes I'm playing games I don't even have volume on. So what am I doing? I'm fucking listening to a podcast.
Yep.
I'm playing a game if it's like the show sometimes where I don't have to be listening or something, or Destiny if I'm just grinding and I don't need to listen what's going on. I'm fucking playing a podcast in the background. So I'm listening to the JVP. I'm listening to whatever gaming podcast. If it's fantasy, if it's NFL time, seasons in, I'm listening to a fantasy football contest, all that shit. So it's like I'm new to this podcast stuff and I really like it. I really enjoyed it. And we've been getting a lot of good feedback on our pod, but this is awesome too. Like we're definitely down. Like he's done a couple of podcasts with other people that are like Xbox stuff, but this is cool. Like definitely being on a podcast with somebody who has a certain preference as well. You're a gamer first and foremost. You love games, but it's like you do have a preference for the PlayStation, which is dope too. Have that preference because that's where because you are that single player type person. So you enjoy the single player games that come out of the Sony camp. And that's awesome. And I love that too. It's just like, but me personally, I prefer the single player games that are coming out of the other side. But because I'm also more centered around multiplayer, that's where I am. So you know what I mean? But it's cool that we could get together and have discussions like this and stuff and just keep the conversation going because it has nothing to do with this hate and all that bullshit and stuff like that. Because we could all joke around and fuck around and throw memes. Twitter is for memes and for communication, but it could also be more than that. It could still just be for like to the point that we made earlier, the educational purpose, just keeping people up to date and informed on what's going on. Because guess what? If these companies aren't going to fucking do it, then who's going to do it? Maybe we could do it. You know what I mean? Maybe we can find out and do it like that. Cause you know what I mean? So maybe it could be us that just keep people informed and up to date because since we're so enamored and we're so caught up in it and we have a passion about it, we're going to find out that information and stuff and we're going to report on it and stuff. And we're going to give our twist on it and our feel and our opinions on it too. So I think, and that's what people enjoy about that too, that you're not just like talking from a book or talking off the script. Like a lot of this shit, we're just doing off the rip. So it's pretty dope. But thank you for having me on, man. I really appreciate that.
Of course, Elijah, man, I'm gonna definitely have you back on, man, because it's some more stuff that we didn't get to that I know that we can just go on and on. I love your energy, man. I love the fact that you're passionate about the game and stuff too. I love the fact that you're not one of these cookie cutter gamer guys who just see things one way and not willing to hear the other side of it and things like that, man. And I love that about Sensei as well. You know what I mean? Again, he may come off on Twitter like somebody who hates PlayStation just by the things that he may share or the things that he may like, but at the same time, like that's his preference, like you said. He preferences Xbox. And again, if you think about it from a business standpoint, how the fuck can you blame him? Like the business side has opened my mind up like to a whole other thing. Like and business, like when people now say that, hey man, Xbox is better than Sony. I get it, especially when you're saying, yo, man, they offering me this much and they're being transparent about what they're doing, and they gave me the extended drive, and they gave us this and that, and I have to pay for this and that. I love it. Like, how can you argue that? How can you argue that? And when I say that they're equal, when I think about it now, they're not. They're apples and oranges. I gotta admit that they're apples. Gameplay wise, they look great. Take the games out of it though. Who has satisfied me? Within this next gen era, I gotta say, Microsoft has definitely satisfied me a little bit more than PlayStation with everything that they've given me, even down to the little small things like the Melissa Game Pass shit that they be having coming out with the newsletters. I love that shit. I love the humor that they put behind it, how they drop little clues about what might be coming out. I love the teasers. Tease me the fucking death. I love it. Let me know something. You're communicating, which is a big part of life. You are communicating with the community. We need that instead of being said, oh, well, Sony might be working on some crazy shit. It's June. This is about the time they drop some crazy shit. They might be working.
It's in the pipeline. It's in the pipeline. It's in the pipeline.
Man, I don't want to hear that pipeline. Like today, those 25 games. I don't give a. Where is the drive? I'm gonna keep going back to that.
That's the title. Yo, that's the title. Yo, that's the title of the podcast. Where the fuck is my expandable memory? Where the fuck is and bleep out fuck because you got to make it like a little bit. You know what I mean? For the algorithm and shit. But where is my hard drive? Where's my expandable hard drive?
Where is it? That's all I want to know.
Question mark.
You know what I mean? That's all I want to know, man. So again, man, I'm glad you could come on my pod and just share some of my passion for gaming, because my friends think I'm fucking nuts. So a lot of my friends don't get this gaming shit. They think I'm a nerd. Yeah. Oh, why are you so tapped into it? Like, you don't understand. Like, I've been playing games since a child, and then now in this climate where I'm at a point where I am buying my own consoles, I'm supporting my own habit. Like, again, I'm skeptical about what I buy, because these games are $60. Fucking with PlayStation, sometimes they $70. You know what I mean? And best believe for that $7 game, I'm not gonna just buy a fucking Demon Souls remake, dude. I'm not buying that shit, dude, because you upped it 30 more frames. I'm cool, bro. Where's the fucking drive? That's it. Where's the drive? Let's start there. Let's start with the basics. They should have been out by now. That's I promise you. Like Sony is just pissing me off with that, man. And I'm glad that you could come on here and share some more light for my PlayStation people, so they can see, hey, get away from being thrilled about this fucking controller. Get away from that. Where is the information?
Stop accepting the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Stop accepting the bare minimum, because at the end of the day, if you continue to accept it, they're going to continue to feed it to you because your expectations are so low. So the moral of this story is demand more. You're a consumer. Demand more. The way that you demand it is by not continuing to support them when they try to pull some bullshit on you. You reach out to them. You tweet them. You email them. And you might say it might be, but if you're serious about it, and if you are passionate about it, and if this is your habit, like for me, like this kept me in like I went out and I did kid shit and stuff like that, but this kept me out of trouble. Like I grew up in New York. Like you know what I mean? Like I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Like I could have been out in the streets doing fuck shit.
Yeah.
But I was home gaming. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it might sound like some corny shit, whatever. I was out, I experienced my shit and stuff like that. Yeah. I learned life and all of that stuff. And I still went out in my 20s. I went to festivals, music festivals, all that stuff. But my passion and my hobby has always been gaming. And I still always found time for gaming, because if you're passionate about something and it brings you happiness, then you're going to find time for it.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong being a gamer in 2021. And if anything, there's more of us now than ever. And now we have Twitter. We have ways to communicate with each other.
Yep.
We have podcasts that we put on now, because if it wasn't like, even if we weren't recording this podcast right now and you weren't about to upload this, and hopefully you get a couple of views, stuff like that, and we get some people that look on it and stuff, we tweet it out, we would still want to have this conversation anyway. Or we would have been having this conversation anyway. We would have been linked up on the fucking Discord, or I would have had I would have had to get you on in the party chat, because these are the conversations we would be having back in the day, and we just never thought to fucking press record. That's the point. That's the moral of this story. These are the same conversations that we would have as just passionate people, passionate consumers and gamers. But we just said, oh, who the fuck's gonna want to listen to us? Who cares? Like, who are we?
Yep.
But it's not. But there's so many more people that think just like us, that have these same fucking conversations. So it's a beautiful thing, and I love being a part of that community, and I love the fact that we can have a conversation like this and continue that, and just continue to build this community. So I think it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you again, man. Thank you for coming on, sharing some insight, having a conversation. You know what I mean? To all my people out there, check out his podcast with Sensei Kills. It's going to be down at the bottom. Please support that. It come out every Sunday. It's really, really dope, really informative, really dope. If you really love gaming, tap in, support my people right here. You know what I mean? Man. And this come out, I usually put my gaming podcast out like once a week. I'm gonna air this coming up Friday. Please look for it, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna definitely tag you in it, you know what I mean? So we can share this and get the conversation going for people, you know what I mean? And again,
whoever catches this, just real big shout out, Big B. Thank you so much, brother. Like, I'm telling you, like, this is great. This is amazing that you had me on. Definitely catch this podcast. We're definitely gonna be linking you, in our podcast as well too, because honestly, it's nothing but love at the end of the day. Like, we could bullshit, we could jab each other, we could joke around, whatever like that, whatever like that. But at the end of the day, we share the same passion, and it's gaming, and we just want it to get better, and we just want it to get better for both of us. So, and that's all it is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Man, look, you have a good evening, man. Thank you for being on.
You too, brother.
Again, man. You be safe out here, bro.
You too, brother. Stay safe.
All right, peace, man.
Later, brother.